You're listening to a Pave Media show.
Visit pavemedia.net for more podcasts and video entertainment.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to the 143rd episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast, where we're gonna have some we're parabelluming, and I don't know if you guys know what that meant before we saw the movie we're reviewing today, but it means preparing for war. And just like our book club, we're preparing for war, whatever it takes. Bing bong. That's a relation to Endgame and Civil War. What's up? My name's Ryan Leopoulos. I never plan these things out. What's up? I'm joined by
Brandon T. McClure. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you say it.
Okay.
And then I'm also joined by
Sparks Witty.
Hell yeah.
We've never done that before. I was caught off guard.
Good. Changing things up. Changing the old guard. What's up, guys?
It's good. What's up? How's it going?
It's
good. Good.
It's good. It's a Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday.
It's good. A good response to what's up? No, right? That's a bad
What's
response.
up? It's good.
Yeah, no, I can see. I hear it now.
The sky.
I hear it now. How are you guys' week? How was your guys' week?
It was pretty good. I finished Mortal Kombat finally, the story mode.
Nice.
I've been playing the fightings as you do in a fighting game, but I didn't want to beat the story, and I did. And holy shit, guys, let me tell you,
Ronda Rousey is terrible.
She is, but she's not in it very much at the end, thank God. People were comparing the finale of this game to Endgame for a lot of reasons, and now that I've come to it, it really is. It really is, because it's a battle against time itself, Chronicle, the keeper of time, and it's the past, present, and future versions of themselves fighting other versions of themselves in this galactic battlefield. And one of the major characters gets a huge power upgrade, not unlike Mjolnir, and it's the most incredible video game experience I've maybe had in my entire life, and I really need you guys to see it, because it changes Mortal Kombat's lore forever, and it's incredible, and it's great, and that's all I did for this week. But Mortal Kombat is so good, holy shit.
This game is ringing my bells like
dude,
crazy.
it's seriously like the final chapter. It's like Cap saying Avengers Assemble.
I'm kind of wondering. I'm
it's
kind
amazing.
of wondering if I should just wait to see if they do a 3-pack.
I have them all. I just want us to play it.
What do you have them on?
Xbox. Xbox 360 is backwards compatible, and then I have MKXN11 for PS4. So I have them all to play.
I may borrow them.
I want us to do a playthrough of them for the channel. That's what I've been trying to do for now that it's...
But it's really hard for it to get me down here.
I know. That's why we're going to plan it, because I promise you it's worth it if we do it all together as a trilogy.
Okay.
Yes. That's all I did.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Sparks, what about you?
I went back to Monterey for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your hometown.
My home... Well, no.
Well, it's not really your hometown, actually.
No, it's really not. It's your hometown.
My hometown.
I went to your hometown.
But you lived there for many
I lived
years.
there for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
My hometown.
We met there.
We did.
We grew up there.
Yes.
We met women there.
All of that debatable.
Some of them were great. A lot of them were not.
Everything debatable, what you're saying.
We did not grow up. Is that what you're saying?
I'm arguing it, yeah.
Tell me, how's the cheese in Monterey?
The
cheese?
I
hate you. I hate you.
I had to do it. I love cheese.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I just saw a lot of folks. I spent time with my parents. I took my mom to Detective Pikachu.
Yeah?
What'd you think?
Her review is it was fun.
Cool, yeah.
Good.
It is fun.
It is a good time.
She never disengaged, so...
That's good.
Yeah. For someone who knows nothing about Pokemon, that was impressive.
Hey, man, they're real cute.
I gave her like a 3-minute summary on Mewtwo, so...
Nice.
Just to help.
So there's this guy. His name's Giovanni.
Yeah. I showed her the 3 minutes opening of the second Mewtwo movie, which recaps the first Pokemon movie.
Oh, nice.
But from Mewtwo narrating it.
Nice.
And I'm like, I think this is the best sum up.
The second Mewtwo movie?
Yeah. Mewtwo Strikes Back.
What?
Yeah, that's a movie.
Brandon.
Wait, when did they do this?
Like 8 years or so after the first Pokemon movie.
I need to watch this ASAP.
There's a Pokemon movie called Mewtwo Strikes Back.
That's the movie they're remaking.
No, they're making Detective Pikachu.
No, the animated film in Japan, the CG animated film, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
I thought you were saying that was the first Pokemon movie they were remaking.
I thought so, but it's called Mewtwo Strikes Back. I thought it was just. I thought
you didn't know that
name.
Oh
existed.
yeah, no, there's a movie called Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, it's all right.
Because it came out after I was kind of like in my
it's
limbo.
all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. Anyway, I absorbed a lot of other content. I listened to a lot of podcasts. Obviously, that's what I do. And I had like 6-hour drives both ways, so there was a lot of time for that.
I got to tell you, as the guy who listened to a lot of podcasts, I think you've officially now beat me. And I'm like, well, man,
I'm
listen to
absorbing a lot.
I'm
I'm nearly caught up on the Infinity podcast because I just went through their entire catalog and I'm almost there.
Proud.
And I watched Jessica Jones season 2 over the course of like 4 days.
You finished it?
Nice.
I did finish it.
It's good.
Did you like the ending? That's all you need to say because I felt the same way. I wasn't in love with it, so like, okay, that's all I needed to
For
hear.
Jessica, I did.
Okay.
For Jessica,
I don't like what happened with certain characters, how they went.
I don't like what happened with certain characters either, but for Jessica, I liked it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
Next for the Netflix shows would be Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, cool.
Yeah.
I might rewatch that with you.
Yeah. I already took a little bit of a step into it.
Okay.
I think I got halfway into the first episode and I went,
okay.
oh wait, the CW shows dropped this week, so I'm like, oh, I should probably watch those because I'm caught up.
That's smart.
So I watched Supergirl, which is almost at its end. It had second to last episode. I haven't gotten to Arrow and Flash yet, but they ended this week, and I've heard a lot of buzz about Crisis on Infinite Earth's setup. And
Oh, really?
All that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We should mention up top. We totally forgot. Ben's not here.
Ben.
Oh yeah, Ben's not here.
Damn.
If
Sorry,
you guys
Ben.
couldn't.
Who
if you didn't
cares?
know that-
Ben's
know that
doing
at
some
this point.
graduation stuff.
Ben's watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Ben. When you listen back to this episode.
Without
Without
us.
all three of us, because we all three watch Game of Thrones.
I can't wait to see Brandon's reactions to this finale.
Yeah.
Man, what if I just watched the finale of Game of Thrones
I
with
wouldn't
you
want-
guys and just did the reaction?
I think that would be ultimately unsatisfying for so many reasons.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
It's a good experiment, though.
well, I'll say this anecdote for our news.
Okay.
What else? I watched Stan and Ollie with my dad.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did too.
Yeah.
I picked it up on Blu-ray because I knew I was going to have time, and I'm like, I wanted to watch this with my dad, and I didn't get to see it with him in theater. So he's a big Laurel and Hardy fan, so we
Yeah.
sat down and we watched Stan and Ollie. And
I'm glad you two liked it. I love that movie.
about halfway through, he wasn't too happy with it
Mhm.
because he was like, I didn't want to see a sad movie about them.
Oh, yeah.
But then because it doesn't really end sad. It's it's a sad time in their lives, but it's not a sad movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say. So overall, he was really pleased.
That's good.
He's a big fan of John C. Reilly,
Yeah.
so I always knew this was up his alley. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. It's so far, I think, my favorite movie of the year.
Did it come out this year or last year?
It came out this year.
I mean, in some places it came out in December.
Because I thought
But
trailers for last year.
I know it's like wide release was January,
Yeah.
but like
This isn't me like being a semantics thing. Like I just actually didn't know if it was released.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This year or last year.
It went wide in January.
Okay.
Stan and Ollie was really good. I'm catching up on them CW shows. Did I do anything? It's just a lot of podcasts,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time with people. That's what happened.
Anyone you want to shout out? Any podcasts you want to shout out?
The Infinity Podcast is a lot of what I listen to.
Mhm. That's Patrick Willems.
That's Patrick Willems and Scott Thomas and wow, I've listened to so many episodes. I should know her last name. Rachel Quirky Shank. That's it.
It's a good name.
Yeah, they got a solid podcast. I've got actually like off them just talking about things because they talk about things all the time. I'm gonna pick up a comic book that one of them recommended that I probably will be a future book club. It's called Light Brigade by Peter J. Tomasi.
I don't know it. I
You
love
know
Peter
it?
J. Tomasi.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good book club for us in the future. It's just a one book club.
Yeah, I love Tomasi.
So that's probably coming down the road. Yeah, and I know we like Tomasi, so there was something else too, but I got a list. It's building.
Well, I guess my turn. I saw 3 movies this week. One of them is the one we are reviewing, but I also saw The Intruder with Dennis Quaid, and a lovely African American couple. I forgot both their names.
Like you saw it with an American.
That's what I thought he was saying too.
No, I forgot the two actors' names. One of them was in the trailer. One of the trailers that we're talking about today, Stumptown. But they were both really good. It's a solid movie. I had a horrible theater experience though. Horrible theater experience. Like there was a guy in front of us who kept like rooting for Dennis Quaid. Made me very uncomfortable because Dennis Quaid like killed people.
Michael Ealy.
He's very good in it.
Yeah, he was really good in Almost Human.
Yeah, I was gonna
with
say
Carl Urban.
Yes, he was in Almost Human. Yeah, I wanted to see that show.
he's a robot.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid is Dennis Quaid's face.
Excuse me.
Doesn't smile right anymore.
Wow.
Okay, look, he's had a lot of work done.
Got the Quaid face.
So it looks a little weird when he smiles. It's like the top of his face doesn't move.
It's like Henry Cavill in
but
Justice League.
it works for him in this movie because it's supposed to be creepy. So he creates a very creepy kind of smile. He worked in this movie really well. It was a fun role for him.
It's nice to see because like he normally does like not always but like family or friendly stuff. So it's cool to see him doing something a little edgier.
Yeah, this is a fun role for him. Yeah. And then I saw The Hustle, which is the remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Ryan and I want to go see that. I just wasn't here this week, so this coming week we're gonna go see The Hustle.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Cool. Okay.
I did like it. It's a lot of fun.
My mom and Megan liked it too. So
cool. Yeah, I'm down to see that.
It's a lot of fun. As I said, it's a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrel. I'm not a big fan of the movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin and Michael Caine. It's funny, but I'm not crazy about it. I prefer the stage musical, which was with John Lithgow. I prefer the stage musical. I really like that musical, and I thought this movie, while not as good as either, is still a lot of fun and holds its own. Really good. I was surprised that they kept some things and surprised that they changed other things. I liked it a lot.
Cool. I'll definitely check that out.
And then the other thing we should give a shout out and kind of an announcement. Our friend of the show, Ken Knapsack.
Yeah.
Collider champion, resident Star Wars guru. He put out a book, Why We Love Star Wars. Definitely should check that one out. Both Sparks and I picked up a copy of that book.
Yep.
And we are going to have him on the show. I locked out a date for a couple of weeks from now. We're going to have him on the show to talk about it.
Target phasers.
Very excited. No, that's Star Trek. Damn it. Why would you do that?
That's
you just sent like millions of evil tweets to us.
If you guys didn't know how much I also like Star
I'd
Wars,
be impressed if we get one.
Yeah, seriously. I love Star Wars not nearly as much as Ken, but more than most people.
Yeah, Ken is a huge Star Wars fan, and the Star Wars fandom can get a little toxic at times. This is just pure, unabashed love about Star Wars. Bunch of essays that he wrote, so it's really exciting. Just seeing some love about Star Wars.
Yeah,
so I'm really excited to get him on the show to talk about it.
Me too.
In a couple of weeks. So look forward to that. That's all I got. Anyone else? Do we want to go, or should we move on?
Moving on up.
Yeah,
All right.
we got plenty to get through today.
We do indeed.
Woo woo!
All right, then to get started, we got some sad news up top. Once again, a multiple death week for celebrities.
Yeah.
I said Time. I meant Tim Conway.
Nah.
Tim
you
Conway.
mean you wrote Time Conway?
I wrote Time Conway.
Okay.
Tim Conway died this week at the age of 85.
Yes.
As Sparks informed me, he was. I was not familiar with him, but listeners of the show would probably recognize him as the voice of Barnacle Boy.
Yes.
From SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, he was really famous. He was a really famous comedian. He was largely well known for
Carol Burnett.
the bits he did on the Carol Burnett show.
My grandpa.
Got his own
he
show
loved,
for a while.
He loved Carol Burnett. Oh yeah.
He wound up with a guest spot for a while on 30 Rock. To my knowledge, I never watched the show, but I read that. So
I watched the show ages ago. I don't remember. Yeah.
But yeah, very famously, he was the voice of Barnacle Boy. It's sad to hear him pass, but 85 is not a terrible age to go.
There's and the other person we're going to mention. These are both like people who aren't in our demographic.
Oh no,
but,
not at all.
But Tim Conway and then also Doris Day, which we'll mention, they are iconic to like our grandparents and parents. Like they are legendary.
I feel like Doris Day, even so, is referenced. Weirdly, I think both of these people are referenced either through Barnacle Boy or Doris Day through like the Golden Girls still being present in like young Teen Titans Go and Gumball on Cartoon Network have made multiple jokes.
Gumball does really?
Yes, there's
That's
a whole
weird.
episode that's basically a parody on the Golden Girls.
Okay,
and so like these things are still present, even though like younger generations might not really recognize what is being shown.
So also Doris Day passed, and she
Age
was
of 97.
Yeah, she. I haven't seen a lot of her movies because it is an older filmography, but she did Calamity Jane, Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much, Pillow Talk. I do know Pillow Talk, but she was super big, and she was a what do they call it? like a big time star, and she did like USO shows, and she was a singer, and she was so big. She was so monumentally big during the 50s and 60s.
She was so big that there's not really a comparison these days to how big she was, because we say a lot of the time now is that the movie star has been replaced with the franchise. We don't really go to see movies for movie stars, but so there's not really a comparison to be made.
Yeah.
So Doris Day was massive.
Yes.
as
She had her
an
own show
actress.
for like almost 20 years. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lived in Carmel,
Okay.
which is where my girlfriend Megan is working right now. It's over in the Monterey area.
Very nice.
And so when she passed away, Megan was telling me that like she frequented a place called Cypress Inn, which isn't far from her work. And so people were leaving flowers and going and visiting and everything because she used to eat at the restaurant of the Cypress Inn all the time.
That's
it
very
was one of
sweet.
her favorite places to go.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I learned through Megan that her only surviving relative, her grandson, found out through social media about her passing.
I did hear about that. That's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
That's
that,
awful.
that nobody had contacted him, which sucks.
Yeah.
I would be devastated.
But yeah, over there they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot to show appreciation for her because she was very beloved in that community.
Yeah.
Couple of legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to some industry news. Let's start with this one first. Disney has reached a deal with NBC Universal to acquire full operational control of Hulu. Now, for those of you who don't know, Hulu was owned and operated by 4 major corporations: Warner Brothers, which is now AT&T, Time Warner, NBC Universal, Comcast, Disney, and Fox. When 20th Century Fox, we know, was bought by Disney, they got 60%. AT&T, which I didn't realize, sold their stock back to Hulu to kind of help the cost of the fact that their merger was like debt-inducing. Like AT&T is in serious debt after the Time Warner merger.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, right?
job.
So they sold back. So they didn't have a stake anymore. So it was just NBC Universal with its 33 and then Disney with its 60.
Sure.
66 or something like that. So now, hey man, you're the last holdout. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Get some money.
So they decided to make a deal, and a lot of people are falsely reporting at this. I understand that the wording is a little weird. It's a lot of what this deal is, but the deal is essentially that NBC Universal keeps its 33%. Disney controls it, controls all of Hulu, controls all the content that goes on Hulu.
Sure.
NBC Universal gets to keep its content on the service and its 33% for 5 years. That's to give them enough time to transfer, get their streaming service up going.
Seems fair.
Figure out what's going on. It's basically it's a deal to prevent Disney from acquiring them forcefully. In 5 years, NBC will be like, we'll sell you our stock.
Mm-hmm.
We're guaranteed to keep it for 5 years.
Right.
So that's, hey man, so Disney now has full control of Hulu. We know that they were always looking for it because they wanted to expand Hulu into international markets, use it to put some of their more mature content that's not going on Disney Plus. This allows them now to do just that.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what I see at the end of the day. Like, so we have this rated R franchise and we have this PG franchise. This one's going to the Disney one. This one's going to the Hulu one. It's like they're just covering all their bases the best they can.
yeah, the thing for me, obviously I've always been against the Disney-Fox merger. I'm always hoping for the best. The thing that I didn't realize was that NBC Universal was planning to launch their own streaming service, which is partially why this deal came about. And so I'm kind of, it's hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Like we are coming into a place where Disney is forcing a lot of change into the industry that could be seen as some of it could be seen as for the worst, but we just can't tell at this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I'd hang all that on Disney. Like, the streaming service problem was happening regardless of them.
But both, I mean, I wouldn't say it's, I guess not, but the path can be made because Disney Plus happened, and then Warner Media and NBC Universal decided to launch streaming services.
Sure, but CBS All Access and DC Universe and those kind of things were already up and coming. Like, and even then, like before Disney Plus was even something that was being talked about, people were saying that eventually we're moving from premium channel packages on your dish or your cable or your whatever to streaming packages.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed. That's just what's happening because that's the motion that everybody's bending to.
Yeah.
That was I'm just my only point being that
Right.
this is like, yes, Disney is forcing some change right now in that department, but this was happening regardless.
It's really interesting to see Disney, who has gone from a fledgling animated family-friendly franchise to almost an industry leader, someone who is actively pushing the industry to change.
Yeah.
And only in the span of a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
What was I just thinking, actually?
Guys, remember when Disney wasn't doing so well?
Yeah.
Guys, Marvel
It
was
wasn't that
bankrupt.
long ago.
Marvel was bankrupt in the 90s. Like, yeah, companies come and go, but Disney's smart. They're very smart.
Bob Iger, for as much as I don't really like his business practices, and I can go into it, but I won't, he has pushed Disney into a very, very profitable franchise.
For
profitable company. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. So we just can't say. We just can't tell at this point. 5 years, and then the entire service will just be Disney. So.
Well, and Fox through Disney.
Well,
and
Fox through Disney, true. But like
whoever
just
still wants
Disney.
to be on Hulu. to
No,
some
Disney.
extent.
Disney. That's not gonna. There's no going to be third-party deals. I'm hearing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just going to be Disney. Disney properties.
So Hulu's just like Disney plus the other?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's weird.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus M for mature.
What about all of Hulu's like original productions? I guess that'll.
It
Just
depends
be
on
Disney
who's.
decided
It
things.
depends on who's distributing them. So, like
Okay.
NBC Universal has a lot of original Hulu properties.
Uh-huh.
They will go,
Mm.
but we don't know like who else. Maybe Warner Brothers still has some stuff that they'll want to keep on Hulu.
Mm.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Right.
But hey, oh well. Ryan,
Hey,
this
what's
is
up?
kind of your wheelhouse.
I have wheels.
Microsoft and Sony have reached a deal for something.
Yes. Okay. Gosh, this was super fast. Let me see.
Do you want me to vamp a little bit more?
Do you have anything about it?
Nope.
Damn. Okay. It's basically
It's basically that the
it's cl-
companies
go ahead.
are coming together for cloud.
Yeah, it's
support.
cloud gaming and support. So like each of them have they specialize in specific things. They're basically coming together for streaming,
Yeah.
which is what Microsoft has been trying to do, which we've talked about before in the past.
This was very much in response to the Google
Yeah,
announcement.
I have a thing right here. Players could eventually be able to play nearly all games together and against friends, even if they have different game systems, says David Pusick, Vice President of Gaming and Digital Strategy at marketing research firm Magrid. This has already begun with popular games like Fortnite, which you can play on your Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and your phone all at the same time.
Yeah, this is something that gamers have been clamoring for a long
Yeah.
time, is the ability to play games with each other across platforms, because there's no reason why if a game is available on our platforms you should be locked out of being able to play
It's
with your
always
friends
been
just because they have a different console.
It's always been archaic console wars nonsense, and really the only people left has been Sony, because like they're Japanese and they're way more traditional with their ways.
right, and Microsoft was already starting to be more proactive with agreeing with other folks.
Yeah, and like we've talked about, like Microsoft, like Xbox Live's on Switch. That's ridiculous. So like Sony's like, all right, if you guys can help us with our streaming because you guys know what's up, well, we can make a partnership. And this is really awesome. The future of gaming just every week keeps getting cooler and more inclusive. And it's like, we just want to play games. Who cares what console it is?
As we talked about with the Disney Hulu thing, we can always kind of project, see where things could go from here. A deal like this could open the door for many other deals.
Many things.
That can help the gaming industry survive and succeed.
And it's still pretty early with all the technical stuff, but like the fact that Sony and Microsoft are meeting is like it's pretty monumental.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's like the first step to ending the console wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for honestly, for the most part, like the console wars hasn't existed for a while, but there are still those people.
Right.
You'll still see those. Oh, you got an Xbox, you X-boner. I'm like,
But I mean, like console
guys.
wars in the sense of like you can only have this game on this
Yeah, like
platform.
Halo
and you
is
can only
Xbox
work on
only,
this,
yeah.
with this one person, and that's kind of coming to
yes.
an end.
And there was a time and place for that, but like just like movies. Like if you want to see a movie, you should just be able to see it where you want.
Where would this leave? Could this theoretically, just going to throw this out there,
Throw it
could
out
this
there, baby.
theoretically lead to, I'm not talking like next year, I'm talking like theoretically lead to a one console gaming industry?
No. Not anytime soon. While there are still like Microsoft and Sony and like
Theoretically, the answer to
because
that
that's what the
is
PC
like,
is.
So
That's what the PC is.
Yeah, theoretically, the answer is it depends on what happens with the market over
Mhm.
the next 2 decades.
It
that
definitely
would
won't
decide
be
something like that. It
anytime
ain't going to
soon.
be any day soon.
Yeah.
Is this a step in that direction? If that is a direction that we'll end up towards, yeah, people would look back at this and say yes.
Mm-hmm.
The only way-
I think the whole more than this, the Google announcement was the one that was pushing you could end up in the one console era,
Yeah.
and that could happen. We could wind up there.
This actually seems like them going against like that PC route. Like, hey, do you want to play all your console games? Well, we're all going to team up against the PC like streaming one. I'm like, well, I could see that. If they want to, if you want to play this game on Xbox or a PS4,
I just
that'd be
wonder.
cool.
I just wonder about monopolistic laws and antitrust laws, things like that. Like, what would that look like?
I mean, this actually
soon,
isn't too dissimilar from what I was just saying. Is like, at a certain point, the streaming services, that pool will become too abundant. It will become a burden of choice.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they're going to have to start teaming up on packages. That's why I was saying specifically streaming packages, just like channels have in the past on other things. So it'll be like, hey, not enough people are buying Netflix individually anymore, or the Warner one individually, right? So what if we combine it in a package so you spend less to get both?
I get Hulu for free with my Spotify.
Right. So packages, that kind of thing, I could see like that being a route that console gaming gets broken down into over time as well.
I see almost like, this is a weird comparison, but the space race, how NASA is not going to space, independent people, like a third party company going to every company saying, hey, we have the technology to make a one type of console, will you guys join us? And Sony and Microsoft might not do that, but like the third parties like Ubisoft and that's on all the consoles, they might do something like that.
And if enough studios do it, that affects the change.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's way in the future.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see. The future looks
bright.
I would say the future looks interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what will happen.
In the case of both of these things, I think the matter of it being when you get too many of these things doing the same thing, Google, Amazon, Sony, and Microsoft,
Walmart's backing a Voodoo,
or all the streaming packages, like at a certain point it reaches such capacity that it's too many products out in there, and so something's got to. This is the same thing that happened on a smaller scale with Blu-ray and high def.
Oh yeah,
way back in the day. One of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
The same thing is going to happen. Some of these services are going to fall apart. They're going to have to collapse back into something else, but they're all trying to get their money right now.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, down the road, not everybody's going to buy 10 different streaming services. Not everybody's going to buy 8 different consoles. Like it's going to fall and collapse back into itself, and everything's going to have to join under different umbrellas.
Can barely afford 3 streaming services.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. Star Wars
Do-do-do-do.
seems like a good place to go. Star Wars.
What Star Wars do we have talked about today?
Just quick things. We talked about last week how we know that the next Star Wars film after Rise of the Skywalker will be 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
They are taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Iger has talked about in the stupidest way that Bob Iger releases news. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but this is real dumb that he does this. It's the investor calls.
Yeah.
His investor calls. He gets on the phone and he starts spewing everything out. Oftentimes he doesn't know what he's talking about. But he did slip. Or not slip. He put it out there that the next Star Wars film is the David Benioff and the D.B. Wise films. We know that they were working on Star Wars films for a while. These are the showrunners for Game of Thrones. They will be doing the next Star Wars film. He said specifically we're working on it, and then he talked about why they went on hiatus. So that's interesting. Ryan, you are the one who said that was the likely choice.
Well, just because I look at creatively where Rian Johnson and D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, and Game of Thrones is done. Rian Johnson still has a movie coming out in 6 months. So I'm it's just, I think it makes more sense that they're working on it.
Sure, but the only thing was it made sense to me because Rian Johnson has 3 years to work on a Star Wars film. Now Bob Iger also said that there are currently 6 Star Wars films in development. I'm assuming 3 Game of Thrones guys and 3 Rian Johnson.
You'd think so.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Our friend Ken Napsuk, who was just mentioned, has the theory that, and I want to say he has insider information because I didn't get that deep in the conversation with him, but he's very well connected. I just want to throw that out there with everything. But he has the theory that they could be working on the same film. The Game of Thrones guys and Rian Johnson guys are teaming up. And I understand that the current Game of Thrones isn't doing great. I have nothing to say about that, but that's kind of what I'm hearing. But they did well with a guiding hand. They had a guiding hand in the first couple of years. So
first 8 years.
So perhaps Rian Johnson could be that guiding hand for them.
Maybe, yeah. It's very possible. And that if that is the case, that would be cool. That doesn't seem likely to me, but
sure.
Of course Ken knows more than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more important person I hope is having a guiding hand in all of these films is Dave Filoni.
Absolutely. I love Dave Filoni. Mm-hmm. We had a chat off air about how we feel Dave Filoni really just understands Star Wars.
At Disneyland, of all places.
Yeah.
If they trust Dave Filoni, things are going to go a lot smoother, at least as far as feeling like Star Wars.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, dude.
Interesting to see. We will know in a couple of years.
Man.
And the Mortal Kombat film has a release date of March 5th, 2021.
Wow, it's actually happening.
This is the film, I don't know if our audience remembers, but we talked about what the potential synopsis for this film could be, and it looked terrible.
Yeah, it's about like a made-up white dude. And it's like, wow, there's only like 3.
Oh, yeah.
There's like,
I remember this now.
So we talked about it. Mortal Kombat is one of the most diverse casts in video games, and there's literally like 2 or 3 white people, and everyone else is a diverse character. So let's make up a white dude to put as the main character in this movie instead of focusing on a diverse character.
Should
Makes
1000%.
sense.
Your main character should always be Liu Kang.
If you're going to do a Mortal Kombat, yes, it should be Liu Kang, and if not, the new Kung Lao. One of the two. Shaolin monks, baby.
Neither of those guys are white.
Yeah,
so
you're right. Sorry.
You're really running.
Oh,
up against-
you're right. Johnny Cage.
Listen,
There you go.
I don't mind if you make it Johnny Cage, but I think the synopsis
At least
is
he's
like,
a character from the games.
Yeah, it's like his name's like Jack Rhodes, like the most boring white dude name. Like they're gonna
Yeah.
get some like who's Captain Boomerang? What's his name?
Oh, Jack Courtney.
They're gonna get like Jai Courtney to be him. It's gonna like, I hope I believe in it.
Yeah, Kyle Reese and McClane's oldest son.
No, don't. bring
John
it up.
McClane's oldest son.
Stop it.
Everyone remember
Save
the
me.
5th
I need-
Die Hard film?
I need salvation from this Die Hard. Jeez.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm really happy it's happening. I don't have faith in it.
I think we're due for a new live-action Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
I hope that the synopsis that we read isn't the current synopsis they're going with.
It really scares me because we didn't talk about it that long ago.
Yeah.
But James Wan's producing, right?
Yes.
So that gives me some hope.
James Wan's getting a little close to being this like
J.J.
J.J.
Abrams
thing where like the name gets slapped on
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
like quality product, and I'm like, is it?
Is it?
Is it though?
He's
Yeah.
getting there.
He's getting to that point. I'm like, he's spreading pretty thin with that name.
It's like Del Toro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Del Toro, like before Oscar, Del
Yeah.
Toro, he would be producing a ton of stuff, or he would
A lot of horror stuff.
or he would start stuff and just leave production because he's got too much stuff
Yeah.
on his hands. James Wan is getting to the point where he's putting a lot on his plate.
Last thing on Mortal Kombat, like if they are doing an original story, it's weird because like the story's there. Like there's nothing to redo. That's why that 1995 Mortal Kombat's still the best video game movie because it's simple and it's just like, yo, it's about a bunch of people fighting. Don't complicate it. And I'm just worried they're gonna like.
You know what they did in the second one? They complicated it.
It's also just like half the budget, half the cast is gone. That's a bad movie.
Beastality is in that movie.
Yeah, you're right. Animality.
They killed Johnny Cage in that.
They killed Johnny Cage in the first minute of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a different actor.
Yeah.
And Sonya
Yeah.
Blade is a different actress.
Yeah.
And Raiden's a different actor. Half the cast is not the same because they shot it way too fast and nobody wanted to come back.
It's a really awful movie.
It is.
Isn't Clancy Brown
Yes, in the second one?
not Shang-Chi.
Raiden.
No. Clancy Brown was the villain.
Oh, no, not Clancy Brown. It's a guy who looks just like Clancy Brown.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't care. All
Okay,
right.
cool.
I stopped caring after you said Clancy Brown's
Yeah.
not in it.
Okay.
All right. So Jonathan Hickman is rebooting X-Men, as we've heard about this before. We
Yes.
knew this was coming.
Hell yeah.
Well, we have some news on this now. We know that Powers of X and House of X are the two X books coming in. He was talking about how he convinced them to cancel the current X-Men books. And
Yeah.
I have the quote. He says, "Is this the quote that I want? No, it's not." So from this website I got, he went on to explain how relaunching with just a new #1 issue wouldn't be enough. And in the spirit, and this is the quote, and in the spirit of what works and also what the market is used to, I don't feel like just doing a new #1 was enough. I also didn't think that if we were serious about what we were trying to do, we should have a mixed message in the market about what an X book is. I argued canceling the entire line, why it would work, why it was a good idea, and most importantly, why it was what we needed to do narratively to return the X-Men to their rightful prominent position in the Marvel Universe. Basically, he was talking about how he thought it was a good idea to reboot it because the market responds to relaunches. Every new #1 does a hell of a lot better than a number 50.
Yeah.
Every new miniseries does a hell of a lot better.
But not just that, because the X-Men have been relaunched multiple times in the last 2 years with new #1s. He's trying to exactly say yeah, this is a relaunch, but we are cutting the slate clean. So people know this is serious.
So you can jump in.
You can jump in, exactly. And that is a problem because there's literally X-Men. I have 4 new X-Men #1s in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
with Hickman coming back, like he wants it to be a message, like, hey, I'm not coming on for just number one. I am shaping the X-Men for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, he's doing what Grant Morrison did with New X-Men.
He's doing what he did with Fantastic Four and the Avengers,
Yeah.
and we saw what happened with the Avengers that gets turned into the movies. So I'm just like, I have full faith, and there's a bunch more information came out and how like so much shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, he said, one, House of X is a story about a pivotal month in the history of the X-Men where everything changes for mutants on Earth, and the other, Powers of X, is a story about the history of mutants in the Marvel Universe. It works as a series of reveals and revelations where each issue of House of X that follows Powers of X and vice versa makes you reinterpret the issue you had previously read. That sounds cool.
That's Avengers and New Avengers to a T right there. The next day, some more stuff came out saying Powers of X #1 will have the most important scene in X-Men history. That's pretty bold, but I believe Mr. Hickman. There's also something saying at the conclusion...
Considering this is the guy who wiped out the entire Marvel Universe,
yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. At the conclusion of the 12-week House of X and Powers of X story, it will launch an entire new universe of X books. Hickman's going to be writing the ongoing Flag book. Wave 1 book titles will come out during Comic-Con, but there are going to be... This is an entire brand new
so
line.
they said the Wave 2 has just been mapped out, and they're going to start getting creators on it for 2020 release.
And I fully believe that we will be seeing some old great names come back to the X-Men universe that have been gone. And I'm like, Marvel's like...
Who'd be your wish list?
I would like Lemire to come back because he had a chance with an X-Men book,
X-Men.
and it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And I really think because he was pushed in a story direction, I think if he had free reign to do what he wanted with Hickman's style, he would.
I don't think
wreck it.
Lemire does well with team books. With
Black Hammer?
not original. Like Black Hammer is his own thing. It's his own universe.
X-Force is the best X-Force book that's ever been written.
Did Lemire do an X-Force book?
Oh yeah, buddy.
I never read.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It's not as good as
Lemire
Remenders, but yeah.
Because mostly speaking of I read Extraordinary X-Men. I read Justice League United.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those books are subpar compared to what's something that he's known for.
I agree, and I think those are both very interesting points in both those in Marvel and DC's career where they asked him to tell a specific story that's not his normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he could come, he's not coming back. I'm just saying I would want him to come back because I think I would like a Black Hammer style X-Men book because now I think that's allowed.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It wouldn't be allowed 5 years ago.
Guys, read Black Hammer.
I have. I read.
No, not you. Audience, read Black Hammer.
Hey, do it, please.
Just like Black Hammer. So excited.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that, man.
It's coming out.
Hell yeah.
Just put it on my pull list. Anything else you guys want to talk about X-Men? Sparks, you've been a little silent.
No, I have nothing to say until I can read it.
All right. So a couple of adaptation news as far as comics. I had comics and now I have comic adaptations. Fun stuff. Let's start with this. Magic Order.
Yes.
Which is the Netflix series based off the Marc Millar book. We know that Marc Millar is working on a ton of Netflix shows based off his properties. James Wan of the previous.
I was thinking of this specifically.
But he's directing this one. So.
The moment this came around, I went, James Wan, where are you not right now?
Yeah, right.
James Wan and Lindsay Beer. Lindsay Beer is known for Sierra Burgess' Loser. Will develop the series together. Wan will direct the premiere episode with Beer writing the premiere episode and the series. She's the showrunner for the series. If you guys aren't familiar with the book, I have a synopsis. If you don't mind,
I have the first 3 issues, but yeah.
So the book is basically about 5 families of magicians sworn to protect our world. Must battle an enemy who's picking them off one by one. By day, they live among us as our neighbors, friends, and coworkers, but by night, they are the sorcerers, magicians, and wizards that protect us from the forces of darkness, unless the darkness gets them first.
Magic Watchmen.
Did you like the book?
I read
the first 3?
I bought the first 3. I read the first, and I liked the first issue.
All right.
It's like the magician shit.
Millar is a talented writer. I can bet you it ends with a cliffhanger, though.
Probably. Probably.
Hey, I'll check it out. I like
James Wan directing it, that definitely gives me... He's not producing it, he's directing it.
And I like I like all but one of the Millar adaptations. Wanted. I don't like Wanted.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't even call it an adaptation at this point. It's
Kick-Ass 2. I don't like that movie.
Neither
It
do
was
I.
pretty bad.
That movie's real bad.
Jim Carrey has a cool dog, though.
Jim Carrey's pretty good in it.
Yeah.
He was the good thing.
You didn't like the mother effer?
Especially the joke about rape.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't want to
Not
go
like
I
there.
can't forget. I wish I could. I remember watching that in theaters and being like, whoa, is this real?
Damn.
Yeah, it did not.
I blocked it from my brain.
It just made me very uncomfortable right now.
Well,
moving on
to the east side.
Let's go here. 4 kids walk into a bank and then do what? Finish the joke.
They rob it.
Finish the joke.
They rob it.
It's not the joke.
I don't know.
Order ice cream.
There's a series of books called Four Kids Walk into a Bank, written by Matthew Rosenberg. He will be writing the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like Donny Cates. This is a very similar situation with Donny Cates and God Country. Like, that's the book that got him really famous, and Four Kids Walk into a Bank is the same thing with Matthew Rosenberg. He's been writing a lot of X books, and he's currently writing Punisher. They're all pretty good. I'm still excited because this is a really fun book. It's literally about the kids robbing a bank because like one of their dads is an ex-con. Like, it's a super fun story.
The series is a Black Mask book. Black Mask is a very, very indie publisher.
Got a lot of good stuff right now.
Yeah, I hear. I'm not reading any of their stuff, which is unfortunate. I don't know who. I couldn't find out who's doing the movie. What production studio?
It could. I don't know. It could just be writing the script.
Well, no, he was tapped to write it.
Oh, okay.
So like he was asked to write it by a studio, but I couldn't find the studio who asked them. So
interesting.
You brought up Donny Cates while we were talking about that, and Donny Cates got engaged.
He sure did.
Our Lord and Savior got engaged.
Good for Donny Cates.
I need
Cult of Cates.
I need to buy one of those shirts, the Advocates shirts.
I forget he has a whole
he's got a merchandise line
Yeah.
thanks to this cult. I like to think we started it, even though we didn't.
I would love to think that, but definitely not.
Yeah. All right.
We'll start our own cult.
We must now talk about the elephant in the room, the Waterfell elephant star, Robert Pattinson.
Oh, my sweet boy!
Did you not get where I was going with that?
I did.
I forgot he made out with Reese Witherspoon.
Okay, Robert Pattinson.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this week it was broke that Robert Pattinson. Look, the internet said this. It's not this. Was cast. It's not true. He is the front runner. He is the favorite to play Batman. Other names include Aaron Taylor Johnson, Nicholas Hoult. However, they don't. It looks like the studio is really pushing for Robert Pattinson. Like, everyone wants Robert Pattinson. Just wait and put pen to paper. So that's the truth of it.
Film Twitter is all about this. They are so on board the Robert Pattinson train. And then the regular people did some real dumb stuff.
Did you want to talk about it here, Sparks?
So Robert Pattinson is rumored to be cast. Apparently, there was fan art that went out around January.
Boss Logic put out a piece of fan art after Ben Affleck left the role officially,
right?
Of Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and that made waves then.
Yes,
and now here we are, and this might be a thing
almost happening.
Before we talk about like what fans did, I'm for this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I'm 100% on board with the Pattinson as Batman thing. He
is
is much more than Edward Cullen. This guy has such a body of film work that is as comparable to what Daniel Radcliffe has been doing post Harry Potter. He's just not as famous. Trust me, this guy is worth seeing in this role.
I told you guys. I've only seen him in 3 movies. The Harry Potter movie that he was in, Goblet of Fire, and the first and last Twilight films. I have not seen any of the other Twilight movies.
That's so weird.
It is something I'm very proud of. I just went to see both of those in theaters.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, like, real quick, like, I can't begrudge any 20-something who's offered Avengers Endgame money. That dude, him and Kristen Stewart have made so much money off that franchise. It's unbelievable. And how can you be mad at them for being 20-somethings wanting to be a movie star?
Look, and not only that, like, sincerely, I tried to understand everything. So I've read some of Twilight. And I'm telling you, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson
elevated it,
played those characters to a T of how they were written.
Yeah.
And they brought everything that was in those books to those performances. So, I mean, as far as actors, they're talented. They did exactly what those books said. It's just that it's a terrible story.
Yeah.
With bad characters.
Now,
but there it is. They're not bad actors.
Now, Robert Pattinson does have a really good body of work. He's just not been in a lot of people's radar. Because he does the very indie scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rightfully so. Look, he's made a ton of money. He can do whatever he wants.
Right.
Which is why I'm so excited by the fact that, like, he's excited enough about a Batman script that it must be really good.
Now,
he genuinely walked out of the spotlight because of Twilight.
Yeah.
He was like, I'd rather just do
I don't
things.
want this.
And we said before, no, I lost it. Well, I'll say a different thing then. He's just a... If Nolan, if Nolan's film that he's in Nolan's next movie, if it had come out before this news, then everyone would be singing a different tune.
Yeah,
potentially.
because I'm sure he's a good actor.
I think there would still be the naysayers, but it wouldn't be to this degree.
Sure. But because he hasn't been in the spotlight, I think it's probably thrown
Like
a lot of things.
I was like honestly shocked at the amount of Batman like twinkling like a vampire memes I saw on Facebook. Like shocked how many of my friends are posting. And I'm like, people really still view this guy like 10 years later the same way. Like why is this guy the one guy who this is happening to still? Like this doesn't happen with other actors.
Kristen Stewart is the same way. It's the cast.
The Twilight curse.
It's the Twilight. It's the test.
It really is
the cast of Twilight.
Yeah.
That's cursed with this.
Well, not everybody, just those two.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick's doing fine.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like the three.
Taylor
Lautner,
that dude, what's
who's
he doing?
not a good actor, so
No.
that's fair.
Looks
But
like a
even
llama.
Taylor Lautner like kind of got away from it because he showed up in things and they were just like, "Oh, there's Taylor Lautner doing that."
He did,
But
like,
nobody,
Valentine's
nobody
Day.
like hung it on him, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but like Kristen Stewart is a talented actress.
Very, very
Yeah.
talented. Yeah.
So Robert Pattinson is a talented actor. My only thing, and I'm just going to say this, very controversial.
Say it.
I want someone with a deeper voice. I'm just going to throw that out there because I don't want a modulated Batman voice.
I think his voice can still go deeper than Bale's.
Probably. I don't want to. It's the now I'm going to put on my super geek hat and just say I want a voice actor I want an actor who can just move their voice an octave down and not do the Christian Bale or the modulation of Ben Affleck.
He might be able to do that.
It'd be cool if he could.
Who knows?
I'd be down for that.
He's got a great chin.
Anyway,
Gonna take my super geek hat off now.
There you go.
so people really reacted to this poorly, and this brings up the
That's an
topic of
understatement.
this week of petitions.
Because it's one of two petitions that have. Well,
One
I'm
of
sorry. I'm talking
4
about-
of 5.
Well, I mean, of like there was a Game of Thrones one and there's
Yes.
a Batman one. That's
Guys,
what I
no
mean.
one's remaking a piece of art.
So
once
there are
it's made.
4.
It's
It's
a-
interesting. There's a breakdown. There are 4 different petitions related to Robert Pattinson. One is, how dare you take away from the Batfleck?
He walked away from
No,
the
I know.
role.
I understand.
So that one's a
And
Snyder cut, guys.
Another is,
right?
how can you give us another Batfleck, saying that Ben Affleck being Batman was also terrible casting? Another is, if it's not Armie Hammer, we riot.
That's just fan
As a
casting.
petition.
Armie Hammer is not ever going to touch Batman with a 10-foot pole.
And then there's like one other that's just like, don't do this.
Armie Hammer was Batman.
But by the way,
and it
yeah.
didn't
But by the
work.
way, for the audience who doesn't know,
Yeah.
Armie Hammer was cast as Batman in Justice League Mortal, and he's hard out
Yeah,
at blockbusters
in
now.
2006, a Justice League movie was being filmed and they stopped because shit went wrong.
Yeah. So they made 4 petitions. There are 4 petitions against Robert Pattinson as Batman, and now there's also a petition this week about refilming all of season 8 of Game of Thrones because people don't like the way it's going.
Bunch of babies.
Hey, entitlement and fandom is real, and you all should grow up.
Oh, babies.
This is not what petitions are for.
Nope.
This is not how petitions work, and this isn't how filmmaking works. So please
Stop it.
stop
Look,
it.
Stop
as far
it.
as Game of Thrones
Not
go,
that anybody who listens to this podcast would do this.
yeah.
We have better fans
as
than
far
that.
as far as Game of Thrones go, I do not have a horse in the race. But it is important to know that if you do not like a piece of media, that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm sorry.
So here's
They don't
something.
owe you.
They don't
refilming
owe
it.
you anything.
Now, guys, here's something. I don't know, because I know you guys haven't played it, but when Mass Effect 3 came out, there was a petition to change the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Oh, I know about this one.
and
Yeah.
it worked. And
That's a problem.
And BioWare, they spent weeks and months, and they put out a DLC, like, extended ending that didn't change the ending, but it extended it to make it not as bad, but it was still a bad idea. It's just like, hey, sometimes your idea is bad. That's okay. But they made it worse because they listened to fans. And this has never happened before in history, except for Sonic the Hedgehog. And Mass Effect 3 came out 8 years ago, right?
There's a little bit of a difference in the fact that Sonic the Hedgehog was not a response to fans' petitions. It was just a response to backlash, and that's different. I feel like if you voluntarily see the way that fans are taking something and you decide, you know what, I could do this better, that's on you. If you're responding to a petition, that's different.
But also, Sonic the Hedgehog isn't out yet.
Yeah.
The film is still in production. Changes can be made.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, that creates that opens up a ton of floodgates that allows the audience to realize that they can alter how media is created.
It was shocking. It was shocking.
Not only that, but it reinforces the entitlement that they feel that they are owed something about the media they consume.
And
You
that
saw this.
their opinion is right over the author.
You saw this with Voltron. You saw this with The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
You saw this with Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
To a lesser degree to Endgame, to be fair. But you do see it. You see the entitlement of what am I owed?
Yeah.
And if I don't get what I'm owed, I'm signing a petition.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
And it just, man, it's so crazy because it's crazy that BioWare, like Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time, and I don't like the ending of Mass Effect 3. I think it's bad. I think it's Game of Thrones level bad. But I'm not asking them to change it because it's not what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
That's entitlement. That's baloney. That's super baloney. And like the fact that they did release this DLC, it's like, hey, it's that ending, but we kind of changed some things, but it still sucks. And it's made fans more mad.
Artwork is made to be consumed. Art does not owe you anything.
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
That's why fan fiction exists.
That's
Exactly.
why fan fiction exists. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's for Endgame. It was the Stucky fandom. They feel like they were owed something. For Last
Jeez
Jedi,
Louise.
it was Luke Skywalker. They were owed something.
And I'm not against you Stucky fans. I'm really not. But
Same.
But you were kind of putting something on the film that the film was not overtly telling you just because you wanted it to be there.
Yeah.
And to anticipate that and expect that they would pay into that and then be upset that they didn't, you were setting yourself up for the failure. I'm sorry. They were never hardlining you into that. You hardlined yourself for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stucky fans.
Yeah.
It was,
I say this as a person who knows one. And I love him dearly. And I'm like, look, you got to know they were never going for that.
Yeah. For Voltron, it's something I'm desperate for. I desperately love this series. If an ending doesn't give you what you want, it's not their problem.
It's undeniably disappointing. We've all been there.
Undeniable.
We've all hit endings where we go, wow.
Wish I liked that more.
I think Ryan and I might be in the middle of it tonight.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
We'll find out.
Nonetheless, that doesn't mean that you have the power to go, well, I reject that and no more of that. Give me the other thing. You can't.
Did you
that's
see
not how it works?
What the writers said in response to the petitions? They're
No.
like, I would love for you two guys to write this instead of us. Please give us an example of your writing.
Right.
Please do better than us.
Remember Snakes on
This
a
is
Plane
like,
was
this
completely
is like
written
that-
by Twitter?
Oh.
This is like that.
I believe that.
The one about Last Jedi that has like the cover art of the fan petition version where like Luke is super ripped.
Buff? Yeah. It's so gross.
Yeah, and it's like all the disgusting things that they'd want to do if they got to write it, and it's like,
Could you imagine, I want to see Luke with six-pack abs at 60.
See, and you see a lot of crossover. Like I'm outside of the Game of Thrones thing. I'm looking at it from the outside. But you see a lot of like people who like The Last Jedi don't like what's going on with Game of Thrones, and they don't see the parallels.
Yeah.
They don't see the similarities.
You said people who like The Last Jedi don't like Game of Thrones, or did you mean don't like either?
No, people who like The Last Jedi.
Uh-huh.
Who are in the thick of it of like, I don't like Game of Thrones. I want you to get the season 8 Game of Thrones. They don't, and who conversely see The Last Jedi, and they're like, you are an idiot for wanting it to be changed.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Like they don't see what they're doing. They don't see the hypocrisy in
I don't know
that.
what that's based on, but
It's just what I'm looking at. This is what I'm seeing online.
Yeah.
Is a bunch of like, it's just, you see a lot of cross-pollination with fandoms reacting in a way where they thought one fandom was being ridiculous. They're doing the same thing. And it's quite interesting to look at. Yeah. I'm only coming at it as an observer.
Sure. No, I know. Simple point, like we've already talked about it more than I think it deserves, but like just simply, this isn't the way that consuming art or appreciating it is meant to be.
Not everything has to be for you. You don't have to like everything. Nope. If everything was great, that would be boring.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
You can leave now.
Oh, zinger.
All right. To wrap up the Batman news, Hollywood Reporter is saying that probably Penguin and Catwoman are the villains in the movie.
Cool. My favorite Batman movie's coming back.
Batman Returns remake.
Oh
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
Oh, zinger.
Let's move on to trailers.
Ooh,
this week.
A lot of mini trailers and the big trailers.
Surprisingly, the Batwoman trailer is the longest one.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Felt like it. Sorry.
It's like they showed us the whole pilot.
It felt like it. I hate TV trailers because I know it's from the pilot, so it's like, I
hate like season trailers that air right after the pilot time has passed, and they haven't filmed the season yet.
Yes.
And they're like, here, let me sell you on the show, and they always show you like way too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously you sold the network, you don't have to sell me.
Yeah, true.
This is while we're on it. Batwoman.
Yeah.
The Batwoman trailer for the new season, first season of Batwoman came out. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good.
It looks like another CW show, and I don't mean that as a diss.
I think you know what, those first seasons of most of them were pretty good.
Yeah, and I think this looks like it looks better. Like they're filming with better like cameras. Like it looks like a better show.
I wonder if that's just an effect of like lighting change, and I think that they probably filmed on cheaper cameras actually.
Oh, you think so?
I do, and I think that it's slightly streamlined. I don't think this is how the show is going to look.
Oh.
I think the show is probably going to look the same as it did when we saw the crossover. I think Batwoman will
just
look
like
much
another
the same.
CW show.
I don't think it's going to look.
Well, that's a bummer.
I don't think it's going to look selectively different.
I was hoping it would be a little more stylish.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's me making a guess, just because usually the product you see of a pilot is not the product you see of the show.
No, yeah.
Scrubs is an excellent example of this. If you watch the pilot episode of Scrubs, they're in a completely different hospital filmed on different cameras with different lighting, and then you watch the next episode, and it's 100% visually a different show. So I don't know that we can trust that that's what we're going to see with Batwoman.
I'm no Superman.
I was watching Gilmore Girls, show I'm really into right now. I'm so sorry.
No, dude, that's a good show.
And it's always I realize it's always so interesting watching pilots before you watch the series, because they're always different.
It's like a proof of concept.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. You got the characters at their core without any development. You also do a season's worth of development in one episode in case you don't get to give the network like the idea of where we want to go with it.
Pilots are weird. It's like they're like little movies. Like movie trailers for the season.
In some ways, I wish we never saw them, to be honest, as audiences. I wish that they would
Sometimes
just make a new episode 1. It's not often enough. We usually do get the pilot. And I often look back on it, and I'm like, just when you go back and rewatch, you're like, this just doesn't fit with what the show became.
Yeah. So anyway, the Batwoman trailer, we get a lot of it, as we've been saying. We meet Luke Fox in a horrible rendition of Luke Fox.
He's basically, for those of you who watch Arrow, he's Mr. Terrific.
And so Luke Fox in the comics is Batwing. He is a superhero of his own.
He's an MMA fighter. He's
super smart. He's the son of Lucius Fox.
He's buff.
That is not this dude.
He's Batman. He's Black Batman. He's like awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is
terrific. He's like bumbling, like IT guy. I'm like, that's not who. That's Lucius Fox, if anything. Don't make him.
This is young Lucius Fox.
Yeah, I'm not digging it.
You could always make the argument that they're leaving room to grow him into that person, and that there could be more aspects of it, because
hopefully.
that's something that the CW shows like to do with these characters. But I agree, like, this is not that person.
Yeah. We do get a look of Batman's suit, and she wears it a bit. Doesn't look great, but the proper Batwoman suit I think looks really good.
Yeah.
Ruby Rose I think looks good in the role.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I like her a lot. Like,
I mean, I liked her when we did the crossover and everything.
Security.
Knowing that all of this is filmed in just a pilot, I'm like, there are maybe one too many feminism lines here. I'm all about like, yes,
no,
like, do it.
Yeah.
Be diverse. Break this mold. I'm all about it. I absolutely am crazy about the fact that like they're blatantly going for her romance, and everything about that. I just don't need 3 lines in a pilot where she's basically saying, well, I could do anything as well as a man, or that's basic
it
idea.
all looks to be in the Batcave.
I don't need her to tell me that all the time. I just need her to be that person.
As I said to you, Greg Berlanti is anything but subtle. He does like to hammer a lot of this stuff home, and I totally get what you're saying.
But sometimes he handles it better than others, and I'm just like, I make her that person. Don't have her telling me she's that person all the time. It bothers me so much with this kind of message when you have a character who just says that all the time, and that's their identity. I don't want that to be her identity.
Yeah, I hope we see Renee Montoya as the question in the series down the line.
I'd
really like to see that.
Guarantee it almost.
Well, I don't know, because Renee might be off limits. Because of Birds of Prey.
I thought she was cast in the show.
Birds of Prey. No, Renee Montoya has not been cast in the show.
Sorry, you're right. She's in Birds of Prey. Oh, never mind.
So she might be off limits.
No, you're right.
We get
Who knows,
Alice.
though? Everything can happen on both at this point.
We get Alice, who is her real sister, thought to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little bit more ghostly in the comics. I was not surprised they didn't go that route, but it is kind of cool. Hopefully they lean a bit more into it.
Yeah, I like the idea that like Batman's gone and she's like kind of taking his place and like working in the Batcave and using his suit.
Yeah.
So like that kind of gives me hope that maybe like a Superman and Supergirl, maybe Batman does show up. That'd be cool. We're getting Batman and Titans. Like, why not?
Yeah, but Titans is a different case because that is DC doing it, whereas this is Warner Brothers doing it. So
I'm just saying, like,
I think there's a lot more synergy in that these days, just based on the things that like Lex Luthor's on Supergirl, like the synergy of what's happening on the shows is a lot more concrete these days.
Having just like a really cool actor just be Bruce Wayne in like the shadows every once in a while. It's like, you're doing a good job, Kate. I'm not going to be Batman.
It's really interesting because like obviously we've all seen the interviews, I'm sure, of the showrunners and Greg Berlanti talking about them wanting to use Batman. They've talked to Warner Bros. Using Batman, but Batman is like the one that's under lock and key.
The Holy Grail.
It's like, we could get Superman before we could get Batman. We could get everyone else before Batman.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Warner Brothers is like, no.
Unless you're Gotham.
Then
that kid can be Batman.
Has anybody seen that last episode?
Huh?
I watched the 5-minute clip at the end of the show.
Yeah, good.
It's fine.
All right.
I do think it's still a little odd, just where I'm at in the CW shows. It does feel, in a way, we know Arrow is winding down. It feels like Flash is also kind of winding down. I know next season's not its last, but like it does feel like this universe is kind of slowing down in that sense. Whereas Supergirl, I don't feel that way. It's a little weird that Batwoman is set in the same world as... I stand by this. I said this when we did the crossover. I stand by that. It's a little weird that it's not set in Supergirl's world and is instead set in the Arrow and Flash world.
I wonder if a lot of that has to do with they never intended Supergirl to be part of the universe, to be as synergetic.
It was on a different network at first, right?
Right, yeah.
So I wonder if a lot of that is just kind of an unwillingness to...
Change?
To just think about it.
But that's weird because we knew a Batman existed in Supergirl before Batman was ever mentioned in
True.
Arrow or Flash. So it's just odd.
Yeah. All right, speaking of Batman, let's move on to Batman Hush, the latest animated series from DC Universe. This is the one in the New 52-esque continuity, not the standalone ones like Justice League versus the Fatal Five. This is Jason Momoa returning as Batman.
I like him as Batman.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about him as Batman.
I mean, like, I'm not, like, in love, but, like, if he's on, I'll
marry him then.
I don't have a ring.
I mean, he's rich and famous, so I guess I would
Jason,
honestly marry him.
call me.
Jason Momoa is Batman. He is returning again to the role. This is Batman Hush, based off the Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb comic. What do we think about this one? What do you think? How
It looks like that comic. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I've never read the comic.
Comics
own
pretty
it?
good.
Batman Hush?
Yeah, I thought you did.
If I do, it was a gift.
Oh, okay.
I haven't gone through it yet.
Okay.
So I
think it's pretty good.
I've heard good things. I haven't set aside the time and done it, so I have no opinion on this really.
As I've said before with the other animated offerings of this type, I'm not too crazy about the ones that are specifically in the universe.
Since it's Hush, I wish they just would have kept with the old style.
Yeah, me too.
Or just did like its own thing instead of being like, again, because I'm not in love with the New 52 looks.
Yeah, I miss the movies that did different animation styles, different directing styles, different voice actors. Like, I miss the variety of them. I feel like this is stale to kind of keep this going, and I don't think the animation looks very good. I think it looks very cheap.
Yeah.
I kind of...
It doesn't look as polished as I wanted to.
Yeah, as like... But if you had like done it in the style of like Justice League versus the Fatal Five, like Bruce Timm animated style, like that still flows. That still looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like they put effort into that. This one doesn't look like they put effort into it. And I don't think the cheapness is just specifically in this animation style. Like, I don't think the Killing Joke looked as good as it probably should have. The Killing Joke had a lot other problems, to be fair.
That's a whole other
than
thing.
just that.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? We always hope for a good product.
Yeah, and the core story of Hush I think is pretty awesome, and like having Poison Ivy like corrupt Superman, like all that stuff's really cool story.
Yeah,
stuff.
it was Jason Todd.
So so like I hope it's good.
Real quick, for those of you who don't get that joke, Jason Todd was supposed to be Hush before the internet found out, and they were like, nope, it's Thomas Elliott.
Who's Thomas Elliott?
You'll learn about him.
You'll learn in like 3 issues.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Let's keep it with DC. Go to Swamp Thing.
I like Swamp Thing.
1-minute trailer focused primarily on Alec Holland. Looks very good.
Man, for a show that has maybe a lot of creative problems, I'm not seeing it yet. The pilot at least looks real good.
That's Floronic Man, right? The guy on the slab?
Yeah.
That's cool. Or is that just some random
I think it might be some rando, because I think Jason Woodrue is like going to be like another guy who comes in and gets infected.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. We see the blonde lady, I forget her name. That's Sunderland. That's the old man's wife. She's a new character, but it's cool. Just like
and Abby is the dark-haired girl.
Yes.
So we're not doing Alec's wife.
I guess not. It kind of.
Maybe they don't have to. Alec's wife plays a very small role in his story.
I mean, like there's like the cool flashback where like she's like a skeleton or whatever, but like it's not essential.
Yeah.
To focus on him and Abby is probably smarter.
It looks like they're going down the route that they've known each other. They know each other before he became Swamp Thing.
Well, if we've all read Scott Snyder's Zero issue, they met at a very young age, but they didn't know it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anton Arcane. You're the plot meister of hell.
Yeah, this looks good. I like what they're doing with Alec.
I guess now's just a good spot to bring it up.
What?
We've talked about our Fake Nerds Watch before.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't actually made an announcement. When Swamp Thing drops May 31st, not long after that, we'll have our next Fake Nerds Watch episode after Game of Thrones out. It's going to be about Swamp Thing.
Oh, my God. That's like in 2 weeks.
We're going to be doing a Swamp Thing Fake Nerds Watch series.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll take a little break.
Oh, my God.
We'll take a little break, and then we'll dive into the swamp.
That's amazing.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's so crazy.
Let's talk about this then. Primal.
Very short,
I'm
but
so happy.
hell yeah.
This is Genndy Tartakovsky's newest animated series on Adult Swim.
God, as long as Genndy keeps making animation, I'm there. Like
Genndy Tartakovsky
I've never seen anything of his I didn't like.
For fans who don't know that name, you will undoubtedly know Samurai Jack. He is the creator of Samurai Jack.
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
Dexter's Laboratory.
And then
Symbionic Titan.
Star Wars, Clone Wars.
Star Wars
Original.
Star Wars Clone
the
Wars.
original
not the
Star Wars
Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, that series is so good.
And
It
the
is.
Hotel Transylvania films.
Yes.
That's the only thing of his that I'm not caught up on.
I like 2 of those movies.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I like 3 or not.
I like 3.
Yeah, and Symbiotic Titan, which was a series that was short-lived, too short-lived.
Did anyone read
Yeah.
his Cage
Beautifully
series?
loved.
No,
Yes.
I didn't. Did you?
Yeah, the Luke Cage series.
You read it?
Oh, I own it.
I want to
Love
borrow it.
it.
I'm going to borrow it.
Genndy is my... I
Damn.
love the aesthetic of everything he does in animation. The fact that he was able to translate his 2D style into 3D animated films, that alone is why I'll always love the Hotel Transylvania films. I'm like, I don't understand how he converted that same animation style into this 3D imagery, but he did, and it's there, and you can still feel his animation
Yeah.
in it.
So let's talk about this.
It is so sad, real quick, it is so sad that we're not going to see his Popeye film he wanted to do.
Oh,
That
yeah,
test
yeah,
was
yeah.
awesome.
That test was incredible, and he's obviously the right man for it. And if they don't make Popeye with him, they shouldn't make it at all.
Olive
I
oil.
agree.
Anyway,
Let's talk
yes,
about Primal.
Primal. It's Genndy drawing dinosaurs.
Just
I'm there.
Just like a caveman killing dinosaurs, man. I'm like, okay.
You see a dinosaur rip off the face of another dinosaur. This is brutal.
Hell yeah.
This
Adult
is
Swim.
brutal. This is
Adult Swim, yeah.
This is more brutal than Samurai Jack. I think.
The wolves with blood on their
Yeah.
snouts.
The
and
fifth
everything.
season of Samurai Jack got really brutal, really bloody, and I think this might be going a step
Well, it's
further.
show called Primal. It kind of has to.
Yeah,
but this
I
is.
hope so.
But the animation is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The animation is just
It was
flat
a
out
very
gorgeous.
quick tease, but like it gave you oh, all right, this is what I want.
The landscape shots, because he's so good at those landscape and silhouettes approaching shots. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so let's go to His Dark Materials, which is the adaptation of the book series. Was initially a movie called The Golden Compass.
Yep.
It is a book series, and now they're doing a TV series. BBC and HBO co-produced
Got
TV
that
series.
money. Got that money.
It's a great cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. James McAvoy.
Daphne
and
King.
Daphne
Lin-Manuel, baby.
King, and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot the plot of what's going on in this show or the movie or whatever, but like it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
This looks like it's definitely leaning into the more adult themes that
Yeah.
the books presented, which it may be even heavier than the books do themselves, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The movie
I
is
just
definitely
know
a kids' film,
everybody has like an animal companion. That's all I remember.
and that's like it's very like everyone's looking for a god or something like that.
Yes,
isn't
the
it?
dust or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, Nicole Kidman was in that movie.
Yeah.
Oof.
Daniel Craig,
Oof, big oofs. James
Christopher
Bond.
Lee.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh
was in that
my.
movie, really.
Oh my God, both
He's the
both Xavier's are in these
and
franchises.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott was in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a mustache?
I think he was the polar
Yeah.
bear.
No, he was like the guy who was around with her.
Oh,
Patrick
yeah.
Stewart was the voice of the polar
I'm
bear.
a
You're right,
polar
you're right.
bear.
Yeah, we do get a bit of the polar bear. The CG in this movie, in this series, looks good.
Yeah, it
looks
does.
very good. And Daphne King, hey, I'm excited to see her again.
I'm so glad. I'm bummed she's not going to do any more X stuff, but I'm glad she's still working. So like,
yeah,
and a big franchise still. So
Yeah.
very cool.
This is awesome.
yeah, I'm really
I'm
stoked
very
for this.
interested in this His Dark Materials series.
Then to finish up the trailers, Maleficent, Mistress
What
of
about
Evil.
Stumptown?
Damn it, Stumptown.
We
I
probably should have
don't
talked
want
about that
no
earlier
stumps.
because that was you actually mentioned it earlier in the podcast too because you brought up Michael Ealy.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Stumptown, which we probably meant to address first, but I was waiting for Brandon to get to it.
Oopsie poopsie.
Stumptown's a show coming out based on a graphic novel. Do you know who it's by, Ryan?
Greg Rucka.
Greg Rucka.
Yep.
Thank you. And starring Colby Smulders and Michael Ealy.
It's a not as graphic Jessica Jones.
That car scene was real fun, though.
It was. Yeah. It looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she looks great in it.
This is also judging off a pilot.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what the season trailer will be.
Yeah, me too.
I'm definitely gonna wait and see that season trailer drop. If that season trailer looks pretty good, I'll give this a go.
Yeah.
I don't know how involved Greg Rucka is, but he seems to be excited about it. So if he's excited,
Probably got a good payday for it.
If nothing else, I'm hoping Colby Smolder's getting to do something like this.
Yes.
We'll let her do more as Maria Hill in the film.
Here's the thing. Yes, I love Maria Hill in the comics because she's a super badass, and in the movies, she's kind of not. No, if I
They haven't given her any time. I mean,
she's done nothing.
There's been nowhere to give her time. I mean,
know,
I'm hoping there's at least one cool scene in Far From Home.
Well,
with her.
I said, in the Avengers, they set up something that could be really fun for her. I wish they had brought her to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a more interconnection.
Well, they did.
That's not enough.
No, but like she's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Properly, yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted her to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that would have given her the space to really shine as Maria Hill. But they just made after Age of Ultron, they made her secretary. They made her the secretary, and it just didn't work.
And I think she's very much wanting to do it. So
I think so too.
And this trailer definitely showed she has like the balls to be that kind of character.
Yes,
so I'm like,
100%.
why Marvel just do that?
So if nothing else, I'm hoping the show kind of brings that about.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. She's a cool PI in Oregon, doing her thing. Looks cool.
All right, so now Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Yeah.
This is the sequel to Maleficent that nobody was really asking for.
But I'm definitely interested in because it is not based off anything.
Yeah, this is definitely an original story. It's got Michelle Pfeiffer channeling her evil witch from Stardust. I'm into it.
Maybe.
She's doing that evil thing. And I'm into it. I'm into evil Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, I hope so, because I'm 100% against the Maleficent being bad again, because I think that ruins why the first movie worked. If you're just going to be like, okay, but now she's the bad guy, and I'm like...
I think
what?
I think, judging from what I see in the trailer with Elle Fanning, and she looking terrified at something happening and running away, I think maybe she's going to be framed for something that Michelle Pfeiffer had done.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer might abduct her. Because as established in, this is the thing, if you violate this from Maleficent, I'll be mad. It's established in the first film, spoilers for that film. It's established that she loves Aurora. She loves Aurora more than her own family.
Yeah.
So if Aurora is taken from her, I can see this kind of vengeance attack against Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know what the reason for that would be, but if you're going to do that, then cool. I definitely like the color palette of this film more than the first one.
Me too.
This looks a lot more vibrant.
I really like her outfits in this.
I do too.
Weird
color changes.
I really like the outfits for this. I find the first film to be pretty fun. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
I really enjoy her.
Yeah,
I think she's great, and I like seeing her come back to this because she's doing the do you? What? No better.
Yeah,
I like it.
Being
I really do.
Snarky sis. Yeah,
I really do like her.
I really like to see Michelle Pfeiffer and Angelina Jolie play off each other. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Now here's the question. Now I'm ignorant on Maleficent besides my Kingdom Hearts here. So she's a bad character. She's an evil character, right?
Yeah. In the original story.
Do you not want her to ever end up there?
No, because the thing was the whole thing was that the first film that they did, the live action Maleficent film, said that story was a lie. That's what that movie was. It's in the beginning, the person says, you might think you know this story, but you don't actually know this story. And it's telling the story from her perspective, and it reveals that, guess what? That's actually propaganda that's built up because of her. Because of her appearance.
It's wicked.
Right, wicked, but it covered the story of Sleeping Beauty. Okay. And it's already established, like I said, that she loves Aurora. So why would you go and make her the villain now after already passing the benchmark of Aurora getting proposed to, as it appears in this trailer, and the curse is over and everything? So what's the point in making her that villain?
It's just a weird movie franchise to me. Because that's what that character is to a lot of people.
It is weird.
And you call this movie Mistress of Evil. I know it's like a clever it's actually probably going to be Michelle Pfeiffer. But it's like, what do you do with this franchise?
It is a weird franchise to have, but if you don't...
It's like making a sequel to Wicked. It's like...
Well, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yes. There are 2 sequels to Wicked.
Oh.
And the thing is,
and
Wicked itself is, hey, she's not the bad guy.
Yeah.
And never is.
But Wicked is based off a book, which has 2 sequels. This Maleficent, it is a strange franchise, but you have to stick with it to keep it.
Yeah.
To keep it just in general. You can't just all of a sudden be like, okay, now she's Sleeping Beauty, evil dragon lady.
Yeah.
You need to stick with the rules that you set down.
And I mean, honestly, I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying because she always has been this villainous figurehead character, but this is doing the thing that we wish the Disney live action films would do, which is tell a different story.
Yeah.
And Maleficent did that. It's one of the reasons why I regard it so highly. I think the only one of the newer Disney live action films that from like a reason to exist standpoint I hold above it would maybe be the Cinderella one.
That one, I like that a lot.
Which would sound weird, except if you actually look at that movie, it justifies a whole lot of things about the character that none of the old Cinderella stories ever did.
Yeah.
So I really like that one while still basically doing the same story.
Well, Pete's Dragon also.
But
it does something
yes,
different.
Yes. I was thinking of like the staples, but
Sure.
you're correct. But Maleficent just like changed the rules on it, and it's weird because it was really the first big one.
Yeah.
And it changed the rules, and then they started doing all these things that are basically shot for shot remakes. And I'm still down for like this do your own thing with it. You know, I'm not against that.
I think Angelina Jolie is very likable as this character. I think
Yeah.
she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
in
She's
these
definitely the
movies.
best part for that first movie for me. Yeah.
And now you got Michelle Pfeiffer, so I'm like, yes, do
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I'm there. You have my ticket.
Bunch of evil
Yeah.
queens. I love it.
Do something different. I don't know what this movie is or what this movie is going to do, and I prefer that.
Yeah.
That's
same.
exciting.
All right. Shall we move on to our main topic?
Ooh, prepare for war.
All right, then, for our main topic, we are talking about John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. And full spoilers from here on out if you have not seen this film, or indeed any of the John Wick films. Probably
Do it.
check
Yeah.
those out
You
before
fools.
you listen to this.
Have I not-
Spoilers for all John Wick films.
Have I not expressed how great these movies are yet? Do it.
And so, yeah, spoilers from here on out. So let's get into initial thoughts. Ryan, what did you think about this one? The
Lo-
third in the John Wick franchise.
Loved it. That's all.
All right, enough of the review. We're
Yep.
going now.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
Sparks, what did you think?
No, I'm super into it. Had
Yeah.
a great time. This was my first John Wick film in theaters.
Mhm.
Yeah. This I've seen all of them in theaters,
Mhm.
and I'm.
Well, aren't you cool?
Me too.
I am.
Me too.
I don't. Now, obviously, echo what you guys said. It's great, but to just get into it, I don't think it's as good as the first two.
Yeah, I can agree with everything we've already talked about.
Which we will get into.
Which we will get into. For me, this is the quintessential American action franchise after this one, and the story stuff doesn't. Each movie has like some story stuff, but like this one's definitely the worst. Has the worst aspects. While still, I think this one has the best action out of all of them, and it's just insane. It's truly insane
Now,
what we do.
I'm gonna throw a wrench into that. I don't
Throw
think
it.
it has the. I think the first film was very good. The second film I think is my favorite.
Second's also my favorite.
I love the second film. I think it's got a good balance of action and story. It's got great action sequences that are really inventive and fun and things we've never seen before. In this film, we're still pushing it. We still got some good action, but I don't think a lot of the action is as inventive. And certainly, I don't think this film is as well paced as the first two.
For me, the first film's my favorite.
Yeah.
100%.
Care to elaborate on why?
I think for me,
It's
the personal stakes are clear, and they have me with him the entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas when I watch the second and third one, there's just and it comes up more in like the random dudes, but there's just less of a victory in watching them be killed. Whereas in John Wick 1, I feel like every death you're kind of like. It's a fist pump of like not just because it's good action, but
Yeah.
get that guy,
There's
get
not-
that guy too. These guys are
there's
all
not
the bad
nearly
guys.
as many, so it's a little more personal.
Yeah. Whereas in
Remember Willem Dafoe was in that movie.
Yeah.
Jack forgets.
Hell
a lot of
yeah.
the time.
whereas when you go to like John Wick 2, John Wick 3, it feels a lot more like all right, but there's also like a lot of dudes who like they're good action scene fodder, but like I'm not stoked with every single take,
Yeah.
and John Wick, it just had me in it every single moment for the first one.
Yeah, I get that.
And 2 and 3 like a little bit less so.
Yeah, so this film sees John Wick directly after, much like the second film. We're catching up with John Wick directly after the events of the last film. We are still within his hour time limit that Winston gave him for the second film, and
Crazy couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, they say it's only been like a week.
It had to be a little bit more time because John Wick has a second dog in John Wick 2.
Yeah, but he gets the dog after he gets the dog from John Wick 1. He steals it from the guy he killed.
Right.
So he.
But
goes,
I mean, like he there's some time. It's not a lot because he recovers that part of his house and all that stuff, and he gets a little resettled, and then everything goes wrong.
Yeah, I think in this film they say it's only been like.
I thought they said a couple weeks.
I think they said a couple weeks.
No, she says a week.
No, like
just this past week alone, he killed someone for a dog and a car.
No,
That's different.
No. Just this last week is when he went against the people at the head of the table. That's what they said. But like it was a couple of weeks ago that he started this because of a puppy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I don't want to get too much into it, but
I don't think all of this happened in a week.
Agitator says to the sushi guy, I forgot the bald-headed guy, just this past week alone, he says, "I know a dog and a car." And I think that's what we're led to believe. It's only been a week, and I could buy that. These films take place right after the other. I could buy it's only been like 7 days.
All right, it's not worth arguing about.
Anyway, he's excommunicado, $14 million bounty.
I think the first 30 minutes of this film is incredible.
I think the first almost hour is incredible.
I think there's a lot of this film in the beginning, specifically the fight in the library. That's really fun and really cool. He kills a guy with a book.
Ernest, the 8-foot-tall basketball player. I think
Sparks,
you told me.
you said he was a basketball player who
He
can
is a basketball player.
dunk without moving.
Yeah, he can dunk through a hoop without leaving the ground.
He's like Andre the
Jesus.
Giant's son. Oh my god.
I know. It reminded me
He
of
can
Andre
just
the
reach
Giant.
up and do it.
Jesus.
Just like real quick, just like the dude's so big, he's just literally palming John Wick's face just to keep him away like a child.
he says shush and then slams him into a bunch of
Yeah.
bookshelves.
Yeah. The opening fight's like, but I know what we're getting into. All right, baby, this is great. Yeah.
Then once he's excommunicado, a bunch of people fight him in like a knife. In like an
It's
antique shop or something.
It's like a knife museum.
Yeah.
Perfect place to have
And
a fight.
I love they just keep breaking glasses. They're throwing knives at each other.
Dude gets like 8 knives thrown into him.
It's so
ridiculous.
good. It's so good. And then he kills a guy with a horse. He kills 2 guys with a horse.
Slaps that ass, makes him kick. Yeah.
So good. Such great action. And that's what I talk about. Like that's what I like about
I think
the
that's
second
probably
film.
the best action time of the whole film.
Yeah, I think so too. Because we're moving. It's moving. It's inventive.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. We haven't seen this before, and it's paced very well.
Yeah.
Which is probably what I meant by I said it moving. Just gonna reinforce that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But once we get to, and we still get the world. We get his origins a little bit, like where he came from.
He's a gypsy boy.
He's an orphan.
Guys, you remember his original name?
No.
Jadenia Jovanovic.
Jadani Jovanovic.
Jadani Jovanovic.
I'm looking right at
there
it.
you go.
Okay. Yeah, so that's his original name. What I like about these films, and Ryan, as you said, we always get little nuggets, little bit more of the world.
Yeah, they don't throw way too much at you. It's always like here's small nuggets to create the whole platter. Yeah,
and probably by the end of this franchise, we'll have a very good picture of the world. But
especially with that TV show coming out.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, the Continental TV series. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
The comic was a prequel, and it was fine.
Yeah, Greg Pak did that.
Yeah, didn't reveal too much.
It's kind of the problem with like the Spider-Man comic we didn't talk about, but like the idea is that what can you do?
Yeah,
really, you can't do anything.
A sequel is still just going to be a small side story.
Yeah,
you can't do a true sequel in the comic form for a video game
unless
that big.
the movie is not coming.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
John Wick 4 is definitely probably coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the money it's made. Oh boy.
Well, let's talk about. I think this film more so than the first two, because I think the first two have a beginning, middle, and end. They move. There's a momentum to the story. They have stakes. Whereas this one feels like, well, there is momentum. The momentum is to get to 4.
I do agree it is set up, but the other two weren't set up. So like if this is what we had to get to the overall bigger narrative, I still think this movie works for the most part.
Sure,
I do agree it's set up.
Yeah, and I think that's what takes it down a notch. Now, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
we're all going to give it a high score. I'm assuming.
And again, I agree. Especially what the stuff they do with Winston, I think is super interesting. And if they pay that off in 4 with him being like a potential bad guy, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Winston, since you went there, Winston betrays John Wick at the end of this film.
Yeah, it's
really rough because we like Winston. We've followed Winston for 3 films now.
Yeah, and we love Ian McShane.
And he betrays him. And Ryan and you and I speculated that perhaps he's making a play to be the leader of the high table, the elder.
Yeah, he's going to get John to do the dirty work for him.
Yeah.
And then he just winds out on top.
Because
sneaky snake.
Lawrence Fishburne is is alive at the end of this film.
Yeah.
He was presumed dead earlier.
So we're kind of jumping ahead. So there's this character called the Adjudicator, and she represents the
Adjudicator.
Adjudicator. It's a crazy word.
It is excommunicado, consecrated.
Played by Asia Kate Dillon, who's non-binary, and started in Billions.
Cool.
On Showtime.
A TV show, yeah.
Yeah.
John's excommunicado, and it's his journey to kill everyone, and then he doesn't want to be excommunicado anymore, so he has to go to the desert.
He has to go to the desert to find. He wants to go to the desert to find the elder.
To be found
By the elder, who we're led to believe is the one above all. Is that he runs the high table?
Yeah, he started this guild of assassins, or is the leader of this guild of assassins.
Yeah, I don't think started, because I think we're led to believe it's a lot more ancient than this 20-year-old man.
Yeah, he's at least 25. So he goes to like the leader, and he's like, "Okay, John, you're pretty dope, and we would like for you to kill it for us. So like, give us your finger and give me your wife's ring."
Surely there are better ways to take off a ring.
That's exactly what the thing was for, to get your hand stabbed, and then the blood filled in the circle. It's pretty cool.
Oh, is that what that was?
It was like filling in like a design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was a little confused. It was like, why did he need to remove the finger?
To show your loyalty, man. I also think he wanted the ring to like, oh, you want to remember your wife? I'm going to remember it.
Take off the ring.
Nah, you got to cut that finger off.
Cut the finger off.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne has a funny line. Oh, damn, they took your finger.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne is a quirky, crazy guy. He runs the homeless,
Bowery.
The Bowery, which is just like the interconnected homeless society, which is still super
and a bunch of pigeons.
And a bunch of pigeons.
The entertainment super flyway.
Oh, that was such a good idea. It's like, this is my internet. Like, no IP address. You can't trace me. Like,
can't hack me.
Can't hack me.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty
Jason
smart.
Mantzoukas as the TikTok man.
Man, I know that guy. He wrote what's the Ice Cube Kevin gig Ride Along?
Yeah,
he wrote the movie Ride Along, and he got super rich off that, and now he just does whatever he wants. So he does How Does This Get Made, the podcast.
Yeah.
And I know him from listening to him on a podcast talking about movies.
He had a guest stint on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there you go. It's just funny to see this guy who's a comedian just be this crazy homeless guy.
And you know what? Going back to like the second one, what I love so much about the second one, in this one, in the first couple minutes, the first 30 minutes, first hour, whatever you want to say, there are people, and it's not everyone, but there are people that when he walks by will turn and look at him, as they're doing a thing.
Everyone's an assassin,
and it's the people like singing outside of the library. They're watching him, and then this crazy homeless man just takes out this really nice watch. He goes, "TikTok, Mr. Wick."
TikTok.
I love the just like, don't dilly dally.
I love again the world building. That's why I love this franchise so much, because it's like they don't throw it in your face. You just have to like discover it as it comes along, and like there's like so many assassins in the world, and it's so nuts to think that there's this entire like it's not like Harry Potter where it's like, oh, it's like kids with magic. No, it's a bunch of murderers living like in society. It's like, it's spooky. It's
Harry
spooky.
Potter for murderers.
I like the Doctor.
Yeah, me too.
Who's
the key master
who's
from
like,
the Matrix.
You got 5 minutes, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, okay, fine. Wait, they'll never believe I stopped. Shoot me here, right here.
Yeah, the Doctor gets shot twice because he needs to make sure, like, oh, I really want to help you, John Wick, but I don't want to die. So can you shoot me?
I think people like John Wick.
John Wick's a nice guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's murdered a lot of
he's
people.
a murderer, but he's an honorable man.
I think the cinematography in these last two films specifically are beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know.
The way they use lighting in these films are
and
great.
mirrors and reflections. Like, I didn't think they could top. I don't know if they did top the mirror reflection scene in the second one.
I don't think they did.
But they definitely tried some cool shit with it.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, you guys just really like mirrors and reflections.
Yeah, and I was talking, the idea, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about it right now. There are two action sequences. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go through all these things.
Go on.
There are two action sequences that I think go a little too long. One of them is the final action sequence in the Continental.
A little bit.
I think one of the things I like in that sequence, and I didn't expect this to happen, are the character moments in between. Like John running into the vault and be like, "I need more ammo." Armor piercing. Like, what the hell?
It's the first time the concierge has been given a name. His name's Pierrot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's a character.
He takes care of the dog.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. And then he starts shooting fools. Like,
and then another character moment I like is when he's fighting the Asian guys up there, and they're like, "We're big fans, Mr.
Oh
Wick."
my god, those are the guys from the Raid movies. Oh my god, they're
Big fans.
yeah, they're super fans. And what I keep forgetting, American Ninja Warrior, not American Ninja Warrior.
Iron Chef.
Iron Chef of America is in this movie, and every time I see him, I lose my mind because he's just a super fan of John Wick.
Yeah.
And he's dying, and he's like, "Oh, that's a pretty good fight, John Wilson."
yeah. That was a good fight, right, John?
Like that.
I'll just
stuff
go.
is-
I'll catch up. I'll catch my breath.
No, you won't.
yeah.
Yeah, the ninja super fans were probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
I love them.
This movie did a lot of good like showing you somewhere, and then all of a sudden a dude pops out
Yeah.
with its ninja stuff.
so
many
ninjas.
Rather than it feeling like ninjas, they just come out of places. It was like no, we hid them, and then you see them.
Lots of shadows.
when they're attacking the ballet.
Yeah.
That sequence is real cool.
Every time they did that, because I did that to multiple places, like the ninjas just show up and start wrecking shop, and you're like, "Oh man, these guys are serious."
Yeah.
The whole ballet section. Yeah, a lot of this movie does give you the reasons to hate the high table.
Yes. Yeah.
And I bet there are gonna be a bunch of famous people in that next movie.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
I know it might be distracting, but I love stunt casting.
Yeah.
Which is why when I was talking about the Elder, I was like, I want you stunt cast the Elder.
Yeah.
Like, give me a name to be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this guy's in this
See,
movie.
I think Angelica Houston was kind of stunt casting, and then also
Sure.
having Braun was stunt
Yeah,
casting.
Jerome Flynn.
Yeah, Jerome
See,
Flynn.
I'm cool with like that kind of thing. To be honest with you, I don't need it to be like big names. Is something on the level of honestly Common,
Yeah.
who I missed in this movie.
Yeah,
Me too.
I've
Me
never
too.
said that before
But-
in my life. I miss
right,
Common.
right.
He
But-
was really
but
fun in the last movie.
That's the thing is like getting random like weird Iron Chef of America. Like get him in here.
Yeah.
Jerome Flynn, who comes from Game of Thrones, he's the I forget his name, but he's the boss of Halle Berry's character.
He was the owner of the Continental, and then
in Casablanca.
now he makes the coins or
Yeah.
or whatever
Right.
his job is.
So that's him, and he's awesome. And just having him for that moment was really fun. So I think actors like that,
Yeah.
that level is still, people who are like they're kind of recognizable, but they could throw their weight around.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't need Liam Neeson
No.
to be
definitely
somebody in the, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a degree to like, oh yeah, that's awesome, but I don't want like Harrison Ford showing up in this
Yeah.
or something like that. And I don't mean like specifically those people. I don't need those big names.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what.
Like if we get to the high table and every single person there is like A-lister,
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Sure.
Yeah. Keanu's worked with a lot of stunt people, and,
Yeah.
and he's directed a couple of his own movies.
Yo,
What?
sorry, go
Go
on.
ahead.
What if the high table is Tom Cruise?
Oh shit. I thought you were gonna say Hugo Weaving.
No, no.
I thought you were gonna say
Why would
Hugo
it be
Weaving.
Tom Cruise?
Stunts.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Stunts. That's why.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I was like, why not Hugo Weaving?
It could be honestly. I'll when I see
Because
it.
this isn't the Matrix again.
Hey, we got Lawrence Fishburne.
I know we have Lawrence Fishburne. This isn't the Matrix
in a
again.
role he's clearly having fun in.
God.
I don't even. I
Lawrence
just know
Fishburne, can
I'll
we-
love it when I'll see it.
MVP.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne is having a blast.
Yeah. I
in
will
this
say, Halle Berry. I haven't seen her
Yes.
be this good or
Uh-huh.
have fun in
A long time.
ever.
Yeah,
Like,
a long
time.
It's been a while.
Like, I loved Halle Berry in this
No,
movie.
this definitely made me go, oh, I want Halle Berry in movies again, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want Halle Berry in like roles that she's passionate about again.
Yeah.
Fun
Like-
fact: she trained with those dogs for 6 months, and those dogs were actually vicious. And in an interview with Stephen Colbert, Keanu Reeves said, "I was not supposed to look those dogs in the eye. That's what the dog trainer told me because they were truly vicious and they only responded to Halle and all of her commands.
Jeez.
So those dogs were actually vicious, and Halle had like actual command over all those dogs. In all those sines, she's actually yelling and doing all the dog stuff.
That's really awesome.
It's really cool.
I like the bit where she shoots the guy and he's just like, he shot my dog. Keanu's like, I get it.
no, yeah, I get it.
yeah.
There's a lot of nut shots.
Yeah.
There are a lot of moments where either Keanu or those dogs
Yeah.
are going for the balls.
Yeah. The dogs I get because like that's like when you're gonna attack a dude.
But talk about like what we said, a little bit repetitive. Okay, we shoot a guy, dog goes for the
Yeah.
balls. Shoot a guy, dog goes for the balls.
No, that's not fair. The dogs didn't go for the balls that often. They did go for like the legs and drag them and
Yeah.
things like that, or wherever they got,
They
they
grabbed-
kept on it.
Sure.
The
They grabbed
hands
them.
that were holding
Yeah,
guns,
yeah.
they bit
They
those
would
off.
take
That was
those.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like nuts, like that happened 3 times. Let's not go crazy.
But I'm using that as an example to say that
No,
especially
I
the
know.
bit in Morocco, the Casablanca sequence. I feel like could have been. I wish it was less repetitive. Maybe not. Like keep it long, but give me some variety. Give me some more variety. It just feels like we're getting to a point where it's like, okay, I've seen this before. Can we do something else?
I will agree, like, because like after seeing, because like there are like the cool action scenes, like the knife fights or stuff like that, but there are when it's just dudes like shooting each other. Like we've seen John Wick and John Wick 2. Like there is a lot of that, so I can't agree. In specific instances, it is a lot, but it's still shot so well, and it still looks better than every other action movie I made. That like it's hard for me to like oh, it's more of.
I mean,
this.
This kind of goes back, but this kind of goes back to like what I was saying, like why John Wick 1 is so good to me is that at a certain point in Casablanca, they're just like killing dudes who I don't see their faces and I don't care.
Yes,
and so at a certain point, I'm like, this is going a little long.
Yeah,
and this is the first movie where I really felt that, where I went, this has been happening for a while. I'm ready to move on to the next beat.
I'll even agree with that.
Yeah. And that's a matter of like, I think if you are going to have action scenes that long, you've got to have like a reason to be rooting against the guys. Like even through that Casablanca scene, for example, have like one of the other dudes or even Jerome Flynn who had shot at the dog be somebody they're chasing down.
Yeah.
So you're rooting for that person to get caught even in the midst of all the action. But there was no like target focus to be like, but we got to get that guy because man, F that guy.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any of that character connection.
I actually don't really have a huge problem with the Continental fight because I think it's so funny and interesting that like they're all super armored. So John's just wasting dozens of shots, not killing anyone. And he has to come back and like, I need more firepower, baby. I need armor piercing rounds.
That actually didn't bother me at all. I felt like some of the ninja stuff went before the last two dudes before Iron Chef.
I will say it did feel like
a little
video
long.
game sequence. Like, wow, this level's taking a really long time.
Yeah,
I will agree with that.
No, I won't. I don't think when he's fighting the high table people, I think we get a little. It's just a tad long.
Yeah.
The primary instance is what Spark said. Is the ninja stuff that is like,
it's the dudes before the two dudes who do have character beats because I'm invested in that fight because they had character beats.
Yeah.
But then there's like those three before that, and I'm like, all right, but like I know there's still some other dudes. Like this is going a while.
If you cut them out and just make it the two fans,
cut them shorter.
Yeah,
you don't need to cut them out because I thought like kicking him through every glass pane thing
was
great. And like
awesome,
when those two dudes are killed, like when he slams the blade against the glass and then shoves the guy against the other guy's blade to slit his throat.
Yeah.
That's really great.
That's a cool one.
It just went a little long.
Yeah. The armor piercing rounds was cool, especially when they start getting like the shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Brutal.
you just you just kind of get to a point where it is starting to feel repetitive. And look, it's an action franchise that has now have 3 movies. You are going to see the similar beats.
But there's a reason why I say like, I kind of miss Common. Common, I cared when he was fighting John Wick, and I think that if you are going to keep some of these longer fight scenes, you need to have someone in it that even those two dudes who were like, we're fans, there's some kind of character relation to it.
And it's funny because like the Raid movies have specifically like really extended long fight sequences, so you could have cut out a couple guys and just made their fight much longer and be like a really emotional, like we're fighting our hero John Wick. Just make that scene longer and cut out the other side. I'm like, that would have been more.
And that's really where John Wick 3 ever loses me. Is just like it's a few too many bodies that mean nothing to me.
Which is a weird thing to say when like the franchise is about him killing lots of people, but at times it does feel a little excessive.
Yeah, because like he can kill lots of people, but I need to feel like I'm
reason for
I'm
it.
feeling something for not like sympathy or anything, but like I'm feeling something for the fact that he is defeating these dudes instead of just like these are fodder men.
Yeah, I feel the first 30 guys, but then it's like once we get like 60, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
And going back to the second one, like I do feel like there are stakes in the second one. He is forced back in by this guy who blows up his house, and now he wants revenge because he's now lost everything.
Yeah.
That was related to his wife.
And the shootout at like the rave, like after his sister kills herself, that's still, like on the grounds. It's still like the coolest thing in John Wick.
And even when when they're in the crowded place and they're just shooting at each other, Common and him are just shooting at each other from the balcony.
Pew, 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 pew.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot of fun. There are character beats. You have a character like Common who you like and are interested in.
Yeah.
I think I want to say
that's a weird sentence to say about Common.
I know. I've never been so positive. I want to say
it's not a common phrase.
Oh, Jesus.
That they're setting this up to be like a big like confrontation between Winston and whoever the high table is. So I want to say
I wholeheartally believe that the next film is the Continental versus the high table with John Wick in the middle.
Yeah, I think that sounds really cool. And hopefully
Well, I don't think right off the bat because High Table and Continental are on the same
No,
side.
but I think that's what Ian McShane is playing at.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But John Wick's coming for him right now.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting, and I hope it is more personal. And like, I don't want to say like I want to see less people die, but like just make me care about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Game of Thrones. I don't know. I said that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just filling space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. If Ian McShane's only ploy is that, all right, I betrayed John Wick, and now I get to run the Continental, and he didn't expect John Wick to do anything past that point, then I feel like he's uncharacteristically dumb in comparison to previous outings and most of the film up to that point, because either that's a bad move or you should have shot him in the head. Like, just having him go over the building isn't good enough, and you should know that.
I think he's playing a con.
That'd be nice.
I think the filmmakers and the writers are smart enough to know like Winston's not stupid. I think so.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
The Adjudicator is another example of like kind of putting in that I know they're non-binary, but putting in that same kind of role as Ruby Rose in the second one, where I feel like you are not handling these kind of characters very well.
You have a cool
You're not
character.
giving them enough to do.
They're underutilized.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like she's supposed to be, and like I personally I didn't always feel the intimidation that I was supposed to feel.
Right.
Because like also like I didn't expect her to be like an action star or anything, but like
Sure.
for her to be that powerful, I need you to show me that.
Right.
Like she didn't do anything besides just talk in the movie, and I'm like, this is an action movie. I need a little something.
Yeah.
For me.
I do need more, especially after the way I felt Ruby Rose was poorly used.
Yeah.
In the second film.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I like the first film. I just don't have any things like that in the second film.
The first one's so tight,
yeah,
super tight.
Yeah, the first one was very tight.
Yep.
I just think that I don't like how stylized the second one is.
I do too. I think it's like the perfect sequel, as in like doing what you need to do for a sequel to move it forward and not being too big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing else.
No,
honestly.
I mean, this is like one of the weirdest. Like I don't love it, but I love it. Just because like
I find the Elder underwhelming and strange.
I don't at all.
Yes, I do too. Can you elaborate? Maybe help me figure out why I feel that way.
I don't know what he gains being out in the desert like that.
Here's what I was thinking. I'm very ignorant on geography, right? But where's that? Do you know where that's supposed to be? Do we know?
Well, he's in the Moroccan desert.
Okay, so somewhere. Okay, so the Assassins organization, whatever's been going around for hundreds of thousands of years.
Sure,
probably,
sure.
Right? Wherever that's where it started.
Yeah,
and that's just like where they never expanded out.
I think it's weird to have this. I just like you were saying about the Adjudicator. I felt no real impression of gravitas from him as a person.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the actor for that either.
Yeah.
I think that's a writing thing.
I think he's
and just
framed
presentation.
interestingly.
And he's supposed to be the guy above the high table. We haven't even seen all of the high table yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not even impressed by him.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
When I saw him, and the first and second time I saw him, I'm like, oh, is that it? Oh, okay.
Which makes me think, almost like in a Snook way, like he's actually not supposed to be that important. He's just like for the movie, like they make it seem like it's a big thing. It's like it's
right. But
whatever.
if they frame the high table as it,
Yeah.
and then he's above the high table,
Yeah,
like that
it's weird.
he should be framed.
That's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
I'm not like so anti it, but it definitely didn't. It felt weird.
No, I
Yeah.
see what you're seeing.
It does.
I see what
It
you
does.
mean.
That's why I said in the car
Yeah.
coming back, I kind of wish there was an actor with more gravitas.
Yeah.
But perhaps what I wanted is the film to.
But I don't
create
even
the
I don't even
atmosphere.
think it's the actor's fault. I think that the writing of it itself just has this feeling of like I feel like we've met more imposing, important figures,
Honestly,
and you're supposed to be the highest of the high.
when the
Yeah.
adjudicator, when they come in, I felt that more than I felt the elder.
and even then that was still not quite as much as you want it to be. So that's why I'm like
Yeah.
if this is the dude above the high table who we haven't even met, I'm not super impressed.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if, like, again, this is something like they might be setting up in the sequel, but like he's almost like the queen, where it's just like it's like a royal leader,
Which is fine with me.
Yeah.
It's
With
just
their other act. The
but-
table's actually the important,
which is
ones.
great, but again, like that's something that we'll find out in a later film. In this film alone,
yeah,
it
yeah.
feels lackluster.
No, I agree. I'm curious.
That's the thing. That goes to what I was talking about. It feels a little underwhelming that this film was just set up for 4.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel that way in 2.
Yeah.
Like whenever we met someone, there was gravitas and there was weight and that was the story that 2 was telling. Now 4 feels like prelude to 3 feels like prelude to 4.
Yep.
And if we are meeting this elder to be better in the 4th one, I kind of wish we had gotten that now.
Yeah,
Sure.
I could see that. Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does
kinda
make
lost
sense.
track of the sentence.
I'm with you.
I did like that this film plays off on the fact that John had a marker too, because he had one out on him and he had one out on Hallie.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
I did like the idea like you can't shoot the bearer of your marker.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
And like Halle Berry gives like a really like powerful scene of like
about what he did for her daughter.
Yeah, like so I bet John killed a bunch of people and got her daughter out of there.
He put her daughter somewhere.
Yeah.
He is the only person who knows where she is the implication I got.
And then she says love will get you killed.
Yeah.
That's so true. I'm like, man.
I really like that.
Yeah. Halle Berry's really good.
She's really good in this. I
Yeah,
like her
she
a
was
lot.
fantastic.
She's got an Oscar.
She looks
Be in more movies.
Yeah, she looks
You
great.
can't kill the
Yeah.
bearer of your marker. I didn't kill you. I shot you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and even when she starts to take it out, I was like, "Don't you dare!
Yeah.
Don't you dare do that!"
Yeah,
don't pull out the marker,
I
yeah.
love how they play that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the character stuff, like, I was pretty on board with. Like, all, like, the little characters. I do wish we had more, like, a comment or just a couple more. I could have honestly used more of the silly ninja guys. Like, I thought he was not the character I was expecting. Like, the second he turned into Phil Coulson superfan, like, oh, Captain America, I have your trading cards. I'm like, oh, John Wick, I love you so much. I can't wait to battle you. It's so fun.
How much time do you think passes between this and the next one?
Oh,
I feel like it's got to be like at least a week.
he fell off a building.
He's got to recover.
He's got to recover from
He
falling off
he
a
has
building.
not recovered for a while
Yeah.
from some serious injuries.
3 movies of nonsense have happened to this
And
guy.
well, there's at least a break between the end of 1 and the beginning of 2.
Yeah.
When he gets approached by Santino.
Yeah.
But then after that, like he's had just terrible things happening to him. So I feel like we're due him getting a little bit
Didn't
of
he
rest.
get hit by like 3 cars in like one scene?
Yes.
Like,
Two
Jesus.
cars, but yeah.
2 cars?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he fell off a building. He deserves a little bit of a breath.
A little R&R.
break.
Yeah, a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah,
for John Wick.
I love Lawrence Fishburne's whole thing. Is like, are you pissed, John? Yeah,
Because I'm pissed off.
yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne was the king of the pigeons. Now he's the king of the rats. That's a cool.
I love him.
A cool reversal.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
I really like him a lot.
There's a
This
John
movie.
Wick video game coming out soon. It looks pretty cool. It's an indie game, but it's like a puzzle shooter.
I'm excited for that TV series.
Yeah, man.
I'm still on board with this franchise. I'm excited.
Oh yeah,
for more.
100%. Yeah.
All right, shall we give it a rating? Final thoughts and rate?
Yeah.
I went with Ryan before, so let's Sparks.
I'm really into this John Wick franchise.
I'm glad.
I have I guess I have the most gripes of any of the films with this one, but
me too.
but that still doesn't take it into like bad film territory. It's just merely these things I wish were touched up a little better, and hopefully John Wick 4 will bring more. I definitely feel like this one, while the second one set up the third one quite a lot, this one definitely hangs a lot of the promise of its narrative on what the next one does. Whereas the second one kind of still works on its own, and then leads into the events of another. This very much is like, like the payoff of all these things is still coming, and you feel
This
that.
isn't a Marvel movie, John Wick. What are you doing?
Yeah, but it does feel that way. So having to wait for that.
Yeah, what would you give it rating?
I still thought everything was really good. I was going to say some positives. I still thought that everything was really good. The action's great. A lot of really fun character moments. A lot of great actors appearing in this in interesting places. Halle Berry, I think, is a shining star in the film. Really great to see her again. I hope they utilize her again in the future. I hope this actually kickstarts more for her career in general. I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 9.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot higher than I expected.
Hell yeah.
Ryan?
Oh, it's me. Yeah, I love the John Wick franchise. It just speaks to me. Like, if I can make action movies, this is the type of action movie I would make. Like, it's so cinematically well done, and like when I think of like modern regular action movies, it's so framey and it's so messy, and I always know what's going on in John Wick, and that's why I appreciate it so much. This isn't my favorite John Wick, but I also still love it because it's John Wick. I also give it a 9. This is the worst of a trilogy, and it's a 9 out of 10. You can't say that with a lot of movies.
All right. I don't think I'd go a 9 because I would give 2 a 9. Probably 1 a 9. Gun to my head. And I do think this is the worst of the 3 where I'm sitting right now. I echo everything you guys said, so it doesn't really make sense for me to repeat it all. I would probably give it an 8.
That's still a good score.
On a different day, like for example, I saw it the other day. I wasn't as happy with it as I was the second time I saw it. I was leaning more to a 7. I think I'd probably give it an 8 at this point. Probably 7.5 given the day, but I'm good with an 8. 8 out of 10.
Good score.
All right, shall we get into our book club then?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Fake Nerd Comic Shop.
Yeah, hi. Do you have any books?
Can you be a little more specific?
Anything readable?
All right, then time now for our book club. Ryan, take it away.
Oh, man, I wasn't ready. I was going to try to read some. Okay, anyway, never mind. So I chose... I just like Marvel, and I was wanting to read something Marvel-y. And I haven't read this book since it came out in like 2016 or whatever, when Secret Wars was happening. That was 3 years ago. Holy crap.
Can you explain a little bit of Secret Wars?
Yes, I can. The multiverse was destroyed. Earth 616 and Earth 1610 tried to stop it, but they couldn't stop it. So then Battleworld was formed by the glorious Lord Victor Von Doom. Battleworld is a patchwork planet of every dimension that is left on one giant planet. So the Civil War universe is happening in this continent. You guys read some of them. Ghost Racers. There's Thors. You didn't read none of them. Imagine every multiverse combined onto one planet.
Right. So what was interesting about Secret Wars, and we'll get into this kind of good lead into what we're going to talk about. What was interesting about Secret Wars is that at the time Marvel canceled their entire line. So the only thing they were putting out were Secret Wars tie-ins.
Yep.
So it wasn't like a title just ended and became part of Secret Wars.
There's an Ultimate Comics one that was like the final Ultimates book for Secret Wars. There's like a Spider-Man one.
But if you're reading Ghost Rider, you went to Ghost Racers.
Yep.
If you were reading Thor, you went to Thors. Like each thing had a version of it in Secret Wars.
Sure.
Thors is a murder mystery about every Jane Foster in the multiverse getting murdered, and Thors have to go investigate.
And it's Ultimate Thor and Beta Ray Bill.
Yep.
As partners.
Yep, it's awesome.
So Secret Wars was great about Secret Wars. What I really liked about Secret Wars is that the tie-ins weren't necessary to read. They were fun. They were fun little things. I like the Planet Hulk one, but they weren't.
The Planet Hulk one had Gladiator Steve Rogers
riding Devil Dinosaur.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So when you read these, it didn't hurt. It didn't impact. It was just a story happening at the same time.
This is the only time where you can have. Hey, this is a bunch of multiversal stories just for fun.
The only story you needed to read was the 9-issue series, and that was it. And that's what I appreciated about Secret Wars.
Yes.
Conversely, you didn't need to read that 9-issue series to read any of these tie-ins. You didn't need that. So we go to Civil War 2.
Yeah.
So Civil War Warzones was the trade. Collected as trade.
So this is basically just a what if the Civil War in the 2006 Civil War never ended in Marvel Comics
for about 6 years.
For 6 years, yeah. And it goes to really extreme places. So in the final battle in Civil War, if things happen differently, T'Challa, Black Panther, tells Captain America, hey, Tony's going to blow this prison that we're all trying to save people at, so we need to get everyone out. Well, Tony hears that Captain America's the one who's going to blow up the prison. From Maria Hill.
Here's that T'Challa set it off.
Yeah, so T'Challa blows up all the Avengers, and Cloak, who tries to teleport everyone out, he isn't able to save everyone, and as he's getting people out of the prison, which is exploding, the energy comes through him and kills 15 million people and like half of New York's Avengers.
Yeah, so it was the inciting incident of Civil War on a massive scale.
On a huge scale. Like it destroyed an entire city.
Yeah.
And that fundamentally made the Civil War way worse. It made it like really bloody and really bad, and it turned into a true civil war where it divided the actual country.
Literally split the country
in two. So now we have President Tony Stark, who's old, and General Steve Rogers. And General Steve Rogers is the commander of the Blue, and President Tony Stark is the leader of the Iron. Yeah. And it's the Old West versus the new totalitarian police state.
We get a sense of what I like about it is we get a sense of where each place is. Like a powered individual is found, and the Iron and Carol Danvers is like, hey, it's okay. You just need to be registered.
A little girl is flying for the first time, yeah.
You just need to be registered, and you just need to be trained. Yeah. But it's okay. You can use your powers.
And I love it because Carol's conflicted. The little girl's like, am I in trouble? And she's like, oh, sweetie, you're not in trouble. You need to know when you have powers, you need to be responsible. And she's like, oh, am I going to get taken away from my family? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
And then
and they just cut away from that conversation too.
Yeah, they do.
And then when you go to the Blue, someone blows up a mountain and is like, hey, you got powers. Just don't kill anybody.
Yeah, just be nice.
We see Cassie, Stature.
God, skipping to the end, like the splash pages of the battles where you see like giant stature.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god, little Cassie Lang's grown up. Oh my god, it's so funny reading old comics and seeing stuff on the big screen.
And Peter Parker, we see Peter Parker.
Yeah, not being
The new
Spider-Man.
Falcon.
The new Falcon. Venom.
I love
Clint Barton. Venom.
This is the reason I love specifically Secret Wars, because so many of these tie-in books are their own multiverses where Wolverine's the Hulk, Clint is Venom.
Does he look like Weapon H?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weapon H.
And that's
heavily
pre.
influenced.
That's pre all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's nonsense. But yeah, Wolverine being the Hulk is some truly savage, scary shit.
Yeah.
That is a scary Hulk, man.
The blue has the Punishers.
The Punishers, which are their police force,
They're led by Castle.
yeah,
And the mutants. They control the
Yeah,
mutants.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got there's a B word before, but Bullseyes.
oh, the Bullseye Boys.
The Bullseye,
Bullseye
Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, so the Civil War has been going on for years, and Miriam Sharp, who is played by she's in Civil War. She's the black character from Black.
Oh, I
Lady from
forget
Civil
Viola
War.
what's his
Davis.
name.
Is it Viola Davis?
No, that's not Viola Davis.
Oh.
she's also in Luke Cage.
I know. Hold on, I'm gonna Google
Look
it.
it up.
You
Yeah.
go ahead.
Anyway, Miriam Sharp. She's like, listen, I'm one of the inciting.
I've got it, Brandon. Don't
I'm
worry
one
about
of the inciting incidents of the Civil War. So I've asked Tony and Steve to talk with me.
She lives in the center of the divide.
Yeah, on the bridge. And she, like, her and these people build a bridge. So, like, hey, we want...
Alfre Woodward.
Thank you,
I
Alfre
thought that
Woodward.
was it, but I wanted to double
Yeah,
check.
Alfre Woodward. Thank you. So that character who is Miriam Sharp now in the comics, she's like, I want to help, bring the unification again, and I don't think it's possible. We need to try. So Steve and Tony, they do, and they come together, and of course they start bickering as they do. And then an assassination attempt is done, and Miriam is killed. And Steve thinks it was for him. Tony says, like, I had nothing to do with it. The bullet came from your side, Steve. And Steve's like, yeah, of course you say that, you son of a bitch. And of course, it is the Civil War. It keeps going.
Yeah. So I really like. There's a sequence in this book where Tony is really just kind of like, we didn't shoot that.
Yeah.
We didn't fire that. And Steve is kind of like blinded in his rage. And Tony tries to figure it out, and he does this timeline of events from the inciting incident of the Civil War to now.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you think? So everything in green is just chance actions,
Shit
lightning in a
happens.
bottle, shit happens. Everything in red doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Everything in red happened at a convenient time, and I can't make sense of it. And Jennifer's like, so wait, that means, yeah, someone's manipulating this.
Oh, yeah, and Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, is dating Tony.
Super awesome.
And she looks great.
Yeah.
This is a great-looking She-Hulk, especially with her mohawk when she's in regular form.
Yeah.
Like a badass
I like
mohawk
when she
lawyer.
hulks out her hair.
Nobody will possibly recognize me. Nobody's seen me in years. Hey, I think She-Hulk just walked by.
Oh, my God. A freaking...
Was that She-Hulk?
Yeah, dude, a drunk... I think his name's like Billy Baldwin or whatever it is. The guy,
It's Baldwin, yeah.
Baldwin, yeah, like the Robbie Baldwin, the kid who started the Civil War by killing 600 people in a school. He's just like drunk in a bar. I'm like, is that She-Hulk? Oh my god!
Yeah, I like the Professor X comes in and it's like, shit.
Oh, dude, that dude is like old and sad, and he's being used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it's so cool because like she's a lawyer, and Charles Soule's a lawyer, so like he's like, yeah, I have to like believe my own lies, so that's how you win.
That's how you win,
and that's how you work for criminals who are guilty. And I'm like, man, that's some dark shit, Charles Soule.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So basically, they find out that through the investigation, they find out something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something has been manipulated in the Civil War. By the way, I want to know what the Sentry incident was.
Yeah.
That sounds real cool.
Yeah, that's why I love it. It's just like it gives you little moments of like, oh, this thing happened. I'm like,
Doc Ock's legs controlling the corpse
my
of Wilson
God.
Fisk.
that's disgusting and
Horrifying.
awesome, dude.
I love that. And Clint Barton as Venom kills him. Man, that's just I love that.
with Daredevil's staff. With
that
Daredevil's,
Electra was carrying as
Electra was
Daredevil.
carrying,
Because
and
Matt
Electra
Murdock
was
was killed.
killed.
Yeah.
Electra was killed. Matt Murdock was killed in the inciting incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Wilson Fisk ripped out Doc Ock's legs and put them on him, but they liked Ock so much that they sent like 1,000 volts and killed him. But they needed someone.
They need a host, so
they
he's
need a
just
host.
his
And
dead
he's
bodies.
like
just
half his body's like torn off.
You could see the guts.
his intestines, and it's like a horror movie. And he's like, Puny Parker. It's
Yeah.
like, man, it's some spooky shit.
That was one of my favorite sequences. Watching that and the arms are designed so interestingly. It was so weird.
And not to mention Lionel Francis Yu. What an artist! Like the shit he does.
100%.
Like his line work. It's so like gritty, and I love it specifically with these like big battles. And like just like I'm thinking of like what the Savage Wolverine looks like, and he's like, he asked Captain America to do a fastball special, and that's
Captain
where
America asked him.
yeah. And he's like, usually Colossus is the one who asks me. He's like, just do it, Wolverine. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Just do it, Logan.
Just do it, Logan.
Yeah.
So that's like predates Weapon H by like 3 years.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
It's just I still don't think it's like a great idea, but like the idea is there.
I
So
wonder
I guess
if Charles Soule writing
This
X-Men
is-
at the time.
Maybe
It was his idea that he decided to
Maybe.
bring over.
because it's definitely a quick Greg Pak thing.
Oh, is
Th-
it?
Yeah.
This is an awesome comic story, and
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Spoiling the end of it now.
Yeah.
Did you guys suspect the scroll thing?
No idea.
It's
I had
awesome.
no clue.
It's so
So
good.
I'll tell you, my idea was way more out there because I was like, "Oh, this is Chameleon."
You've got Chameleon.
I was like,
Spider-Man.
what's like the weirdest thing this could be? And I'm like, what if Chameleon just like got the one up on everyone? I'd be way into
I'm
that.
the ultimate
but
villain.
But then started saying my people, and I went, Skrulls.
So wait, so was Secret Invasion after Civil War?
Before.
It was before.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. It was after.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this basically Charles Soule created a world where the Civil War never ended, and the Skrulls that were already embedded in Earth were stranded in this other event.
So
it's rough.
This is one of my favorite things because my thing with the Skrulls is always that, oh yeah, but like, not that I'm not into Skrull events, but like, their tactics are always at a time when there's nothing else to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So like, obviously they get beat because there's nothing else distracting enough,
Mm-hmm.
and they're never convincing enough in the lie. But with this, they had the perfect ammo of like, yeah, we could do it because nobody's even suspecting the
Yeah.
Skrulls, and boom, there it is.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome that
Yeah.
you get to have that story where it's like, yeah, if the Skrulls just happen to do it at the right time, then it totally
This
works.
is a Civil War and a Secret Invasion sequel,
yeah.
and it's awesome on both fronts.
Yeah,
I think this is
one of the things I really like about the Secret Wars tie-ins, but the ones that are like this, because there's a lot of like alternate reality things, but like stuff that take events and carry them over, like Renew Your Vows and things like that. It takes the idea. Okay, where's our inciting incident? What happened after that that either wouldn't have happened or would have happened differently?
Yeah.
And Charles Soule took Secret Invasion, being like, okay, Secret Invasion would have happened anyway.
Yeah.
But if the Civil War kept going on, the Secret Invasion would have happened differently, and tied that in. I really like that workaround.
Yeah. I don't think we need to talk about it too much more, but the Skrulls are manipulating this huge war.
They're the ones in red. They're the
Yeah.
ones have been causing everything.
Yeah. So Tony's realizing this, and he's like, okay, we need to stop this. But poor Steve, he's just like, oh, well, Tony's trying to take us out, and he's taking our resources, so we need to go to war. And he brings all of his armies, and he blows up the bridge
Right.
where Miriam Sharp lived, and
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
we need to make a stand. And I'm like, Steve, no. Oh,
Yeah.
God, this is an actual Civil War. I'm not ready for it.
And he when they work together, they blow up a bomb that Steve was working
The
on.
bell curve bomb, yeah.
The bell curve bomb that
Yeah.
was going to take away all superpowered people.
Steve's like, how are we so blind to this? And Tony's like, they made us kings, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some good shit.
That's a really good line.
Yeah.
Of course we were blind to it.
Oh, I took a picture of it. There's a Whatever It Takes reference in this book.
There
I thought
is,
I thought
yeah.
it was pretty good. Of course, it's
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Iron Man
Whatever
calls-
it takes.
Hey, I really like the Iron Man suits in this.
Yeah.
I did too.
I kind of like the translucent. of them.
The way you can see his face through the
Yeah.
mask. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those a lot.
There's a small moment where Jennifer turns into She-Hulk and kisses Tony, and he's like, "God, you're magnificent."
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, this is the world we live in, where like a giant green lady can kiss the president.
Yeah.
That's just like, to me, it's like, man, it's fucking cool comic books, dude.
Well, and she right before that, because why he says that is because she's like, he's like, you're gonna go down there and take them all on by yourself, and she's like, well, isn't that what we used to be all about?
Oh, that's such a good
Yeah.
line too.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's what the Avengers used to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I like seeing so they blow up the bomb.
What I was gonna say real quick, like one of my favorite things about that King's line is that it shows that under the right circumstances, even Steve can be corruptible.
Yeah.
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 He wouldn't even know it.
Right. When he doesn't know it, he can be corrupted.
Yeah. So they blow up the bomb and everything's fine.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, like he gets rid
Yeah.
of powers.
Yeah.
Gets rid of everyone's powers. The Skrulls were beaten because they couldn't shapeshift.
Also
Yeah.
kills a bunch of people because it's a bomb.
And I really like
it killed Steve and Tony.
Yeah.
yeah, and I really like because they were right at the epicenter.
Yeah.
I really like them fighting up to that and knowing like, hey, we're gonna fix it because we're the ones who broke it.
Yeah.
I really like that. Like, if Civil War were just its own contained story and there was no continued Marvel continuity, this is an awesome ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, even Emma Frost telling everyone that this is what happened.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, oh shit! Everyone go!
Everyone down. Everyone needs to be a hero right now, and it's like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Peter and Jen Walters at the end talking with each other about what
And Peter,
the aftermath of it.
Peter and MJ were split up.
Yeah.
I really.
And he's like, I gotta do everything I can.
Yeah.
To be whatever's left of me.
Real quick, Emma Frost, because Steve and Tony ask Emma to give a message to the entire world, saying, "Hey, this is all bullshit and scrolls." So Emma's like, Rogers and Stark just asked me to ask every single person on that battlefield, including some of the most powerful people in the world, that they've been pawns of alien shapeshifters for years, Carol, years. I literally cannot wait to see what happens next. She's like, I got no horse in this race. This is hilarious.
She's very excited to see what could happen.
In the final line, Peter is like, MJ's like, hey, do you think Steve and Tony knew that? Like,
it was Jen.
Sorry, it
Walters.
was Jen, and she's like, "Do you know Steve and Tony? They would die, and like all this would happen." And Peter's like, "You know what? I don't want to fight about it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh God."
It was a great ending.
Yeah.
And you can see they're literally repairing
the bridge.
Not just the bridge, the whole gap in the country. They're building over it.
Yeah.
This is honestly probably the best Secret Wars tie-in book. And after rereading it, I'm like, dude, this is Charles Soule's so good at writing, especially when he has free reign to do what he wants.
What was my favorite tie-in book? I really like the Planet Hulk one.
That is really cool. I think the art's way better than the actual story.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect package of being a weird sequel, of being its own thing, doing inversions of characters.
Bucky was a Skrull the whole time.
Bucky being a Skrull.
Oh
is awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh man, was Bucky even ever alive? And he's like, I don't know, Steve.
Yeah. That's so rough.
I don't know. Oh man, yeah, that was great stuff.
I'm glad. Yeah,
this was such a good little
Civil War
story. And the thing is, I've never read Civil War.
Yeah,
and
you don't need to. The first page
and I was still right here with this. I never felt lost. This was such a good little self-contained thing.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm really glad you guys liked it.
I like this one a lot.
It just made me like, oh man, Charles Soule's so good at comics.
All right, so that should be it.
Whoop whoop whoop. Yep.
All right, so it's my turn. I do know what I'm doing.
Oh, you got it.
Godzilla: The Half-Century War.
Screonk.
This is my favorite comic ever.
Ooh.
You
should get a tattoo of it.
No. This is my favorite comic ever. This is Godzilla: The Half-Century War.
Little Godzilla circle logo that they put on the back of all the DVDs and everything, just like right here on your shoulder.
Put on your nipple.
There's always a Godzilla inside.
Jesus. So yeah, this is by James Stokoe. We did Aliens Dead Orbit. He did this before. This was by IDW. I think the book is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork is great. I'm very excited to read this in conjunction with Godzilla coming up. This is a 65th anniversary. This was made for the 60th anniversary, but it's done as if it's the 50th anniversary. So I'm really excited for that.
Heck yeah.
So that'll be it. That'll be next week.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's get out of here. As you all know, we have a YouTube channel now.
We sure do.
We got some great content up there on the YouTube channel. Sparks, Ryan, would you want to talk a little bit about that?
Ooh, boy. Well, Game of Thrones is ending tonight.
Yep, and in just a matter of the next 48 hours, we'll definitely have our last Fake Nerds watch for Game of Thrones.
Our Night's Watch is
and that will be it. And then we will be taking a break, as I said earlier in the podcast. It looks like about like a week and a half.
Week and a half?
Yeah. We'll take about about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2-week break. And then we'll be back with Fake Nerds watching
Crudman.
the Swamp Thing series dropping on DC Universe. And so we'll keep that going while that series runs out.
Yep. Basement Arcades every week. Still coming out.
Basement
until
Arcade's
it's done.
dropping every week. Gonna keep doing that for now. There's talks of other things coming to YouTube, but we're long in the tooth in making of that. This
Working on it.
podcast episode and old archive episodes will be making their way to YouTube over the next few weeks.
Walking
Very
fast.
cool. Very cool.
Yep.
And next week, the review train keeps going. Let me tell you guys, we're reviewing a movie until July, till Spider-Man Homecoming. So next week...
Wait, what?
Spider-Man Far From Home.
That's the one.
I love 2017.
8 years later. So next,
Oh, wow, yeah.
next week...
Renew your vows.
Oh my God. So next week, we are doing 2, depending on how we're going to do it. We're going to do Brightburn and we're going to do Aladdin. One may be a special. We may do them on one episode. We'll let you guys know what happens. But those are the 2 movies that are going to be reviewed next week.
We may or may not have some guests.
We may or may not have some
Heck
guests.
yeah.
And speaking of guests, Ken Knapsack, we have solidified him as we have solidified a date for him. He's going to come on and talk about why we love Star Wars, his first book about Star Wars and, well, why we love it.
That's cool.
I am also trying to lock in dates for already said that name. For Mike Mottola.
Woo!
Trying to get him back, and Jen, the Key Thief.
Heck yeah.
Lundstrom. So we're gonna try and get some people on.
I like Friends.
Gonna be great.
Friends are nice.
As you all know, we are a Funko affiliate. Click the link in the description for and at checkout use promo code SHOP10 for 10% off your purchase.
Hell yeah.
We are a member of Pave Media. Go to pavemedia.net for so many cool podcasts such as Beg to Differ, Batman vs. the World. I can name them all. No, I can't.
Could you?
Probably not. Oh, probably actually if I tried. Let's get contextual. No, you didn't challenge me to do it. Never
I
mind.
didn't know it was an actual challenge.
Patreon. Check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/FakeNerdPodcast. TeePublic. TeePublic.com/user/FakeNerdPod. Watch our Instagrams for sales. I try to post whenever those sales go up. We do not control it. That's on TeePublic. I personally bought a ton of our merchandise thanks to these sales. A lot of stuff.
Heck yeah.
So cool stuff up there. Specifically, right now, just the logos from Mike Mottola. But we are working on other things. Thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. There is no show without you guys. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci, who does our theme music and intro stuffs. You can find them at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. Real quickly about Suburban Proctologist, it is not online anymore. But we are getting it back up there. We are going to help him out with that. We are getting it back up lickety split, so we'll let you know when that's back.
I need my Procto.
And hopefully that'll help him make more episodes as well.
Jeremy was one of the people I saw when I went back to Monterey. We had some discussions. So.
Cool, very cool.
I love Jeremy.
Thank you to Mike Mottola for our logo, as always. You can find him at Mike Mottola on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at... Nope. You can also find us at fakenerdguys@gmail.com. Email us. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Sparks, where are you?
Sparks Witty on Instagram, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan.
I'm at the Baba Yaga.
Ryan.
I'm at DJ Tony Snark at everything.
That'd be a pretty good handle, though.
Yeah. Someone's got
I'm
it.
the Baba Yaga.
Someone's got
it.
Subscribe to us.
I'm Ben Magnet. I'm at Ben Magnet 27 everywhere.
Wow,
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.
Parabellum.